just go, and whatever's good is good, whatever's bad is bad. You go with it, and then I send it to him, and then he'll cut it for like YouTube stuff or whatever. So I don't cut anything with the podcast anyway, and I mean, I haven't done too many YouTube stuff, but the YouTube stuff I was doing, I was doing like wholesaling, like calling agents, and so I would cut those, but not much. I would just it would be like 5-minute video here, 5-minute video here, 5-minute video here. But I'm like, the name of my podcast is Imperfect Life Podcast. My YouTube channel is Imperfect Life at Tabor. Okay. My Instagram is Imperfect Life at Tabor.
Which I don't know if I follow you on Instagram yet.
I don't know.
I'll have to get you.
But it's, the whole point is that like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? And so many of us like overthink everything we're doing, including me. And then like, in addition to that, like depending on your past or your history, which it's me.
Gotcha.
It, maybe you've got things that bother you that you've done, like with my history, you know what I mean? Things that I've done or gone through, like sometimes it eats at you like, oh, should I be doing this? Am I okay? Is this good? And just remind yourself it's cool, man. You know what I mean? And take imperfect action. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just take imperfect action.
Love that.
It's kind of the theme of it. You know what I mean? And when I do some podcasts later on, like as I grow and stuff like that, and YouTube, I want to find people like me who've either been to prison or they've been, they've had something in their life that they've had to overcome, whether it was prison or, substance abuse or, some other major thing in their life that is supposed to keep you from growing and becoming a productive person in society, and they've overcome that and created something. I want to kind of find people like that, so that hopefully it'll help other people out there. Yeah,
you're onto something good, man.
My phone's on. So, hello everybody. This is Tyler Burke. He is a friend of mine that I met at we met at Bash Brothers.
Yep.
And you came and spoke at Bash Brothers and talked about kind of what you do. And you're not officially in any one of Pace's communities, right?
I am not, no. Okay. I'm very knowledgeable of it. I'm really close with Cody Barton, so familiar with the business ventures that they were on together. Had known about it prior to, even getting into the property management side of things. But
okay.
Very familiar with how everything operates, how it all works. I have been a man of trying everything all the time and realized like, hey, I think my niche is just the property management stuff for, this group of real estate that, subject to and all those things.
Yeah.
So I'm really like, hey, I just got to put my eggs in the property management basket. Once I get that flowing, really, really well, and then hire some people on and I can be more hands off, maybe I'll start to, dip my toes in that. But right now for my peace of mind and what I know it takes for me to succeed, I have to be a part of the community, but not actually be involved. Yeah.
Which really, you've already like circumvented some of everybody else's problem who's in the community, because it's so hard when you're in the community, because there's so many people doing so many different aspects of real estate, and you learn about all of them, whether it's through Pace or from Pace or through like just networking, that you're just like, oh my God, all these things are amazing, you know? And so I've kind of gone through that too. I've had to like narrow down like what I'm trying to focus on. So you've kind of circumvented that already and already figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is great. Great. And that's the thing too I like about our meetups on Fridays, is that it's not, you don't have to be a part of the community to be there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I love being able to invite people like, hey, what's this group about? I'm like, well, it's kind of put on by a community that I'm involved in, but you don't have to be involved in it. Mm-hmm. Everybody's welcome. Like, come hang out, meet people. You know what I mean? Yep. So that's what I like about the community too, or at least that meetup anyway, that it's very inclusive,
of course,
of everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. That was the first thing I asked Eddie. I was like, hey dude, like, do I have to join something? Do I have to, is there a requirement for me? He goes, no, just show up. Like, it's just, and I love how it is exclusive to a group or a style, right? Like the goal is for people in the community to help each other out, but then also it feels like a mastermind, or it
Yeah.
feels like just a networking event. And every single time I go to one of those, I meet somebody or have a great conversation that, like, there's been progress. Every Friday I've gone, there's progress. And, when you can find events like that, I mean, they're definitely worth being at.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when I first got involved with Pace's communities, I first got into Gator and then later got into Sub 2, but it was tough in the very beginning. You know what I mean? Because there's so much information, but I don't really know anybody, and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that information and incorporate it. But it's been, and I've been going to the community, I guess, about a little over, I guess, right at about a year now. And I've been going to the meetups, the Friday night meetups, and I've watched all the pieces kind of fall into place that have helped move my real estate journey forward. You know what I mean? Just from the people that are there, and then also the encouragement is super, super amazing. You know what I mean? But like, people don't realize how much correct networking, you know what I mean? Like, will actually affect your life. Because there's the cheesy networking where you run around, you go everywhere and you hand everybody your card. You're like, hey, call me. Hey, call me. Hey, call me.
And then there's never any communication.
Right. Yeah. And then this kind of networking where you go consistently, and then you meet people and you talk to people and you get to know people, and everybody wants to figure out how to help each other. So, which is really cool. It's different than normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was a season of my life where I thought it was just really cool, the people I knew.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, after 4 or 5 years of that, I was just like, it's not getting me anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they're great people and I'm still talking with them, right? But I was just so stuck on what I think was kind of that mindset, which is just like, go places and meet people, and then become friends with them. And then obviously, yes, have authentic friendships, right? And like, friendship first, business second.
For sure.
But I just kind of realized that personal success was just kind of stuck on me just knowing people. And then I was like, okay, well, I feel like I've got to do something more or different, because nothing's changing, but I know great people.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And then, just, and it's so funny because once it starts, it just snowballs.
Yeah.
Right.
And it really does.
I feel like that once you see it, you have that year or two of consistency where you're just showing up to those meetings, but then all of a sudden it's just like, you meet the next 5 people you meet, just things start taking off.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to see how that works. And yeah, like I said, those Friday night events, I feel like just conversations are so intentional towards action, right? It's not conversation just around, hey, like, yeah, maybe we should meet up. Let's go get coffee. Cool. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Very surface level. Like, these conversations Friday nights are action based.
Yeah.
How do I do it? When do I do it? Do you want to be a part of it? And just move from that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, what did you do before you got into property management or real estate or any of that stuff?
Yeah, man, I've got the kind of a hopscotch journey. So graduated college in 2012, Wabash College. So real difficult academic, small liberal arts university. It's one of the last 2 or 3 all-male colleges left in the country.
Oh, wow.
Only about 847 students total.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very small school. Went down the education path where I thought, hey, this will really help, and that's, everybody has their different viewpoint of like what they think, a successful path to job, future, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. I took that and just I started working with a company, the Nielsen ratings. Everybody's pretty familiar with them. The ones that are always, this many people watch the Super Bowl, this many people, shop at this store. Like, they do all of that statistical data. I worked for them after college, started traveling the country. I got a promotion to be kind of like the face of Nielsen for everybody partaking in the ratings in their home.
Okay.
So that was in the inner city Chicago area. So I'd be on the west side of Chicago, then I'd be downtown at a family's house, working on some of their stuff, keeping them happy, checking in on them. Hey, how's everything going? I noticed you're, not logging who's supposed to be watching when you're supposed to, and I just kind of set up family meetings. Then I'd be on the south side of Chicago, and then just all over the place. So did that, and that took me from Chicago down to, I then met somebody in the cybersecurity world and got hired it was at the time Intel, but everybody knows McAfee. Okay, so Intel had bought McAfee at the time. They transitioned it to Intel Security, packed all my bags, moved to Texas in 2 weeks. And, so got into the cybersecurity world, was doing that for about 4 years, and then sold everything I owned, either sold it, gave it away, quit my job, and traveled the world on a mission trip to 18 different countries. So I went on a Christian mission trip, volunteered around the world, came back from that, watched my sister get married, and I said, what's next? And so looked in, at some jobs over in Miami, was looking here. My sister was out here at the time. I knew a bunch of great entrepreneurs, and I just was like, I want to move out there.
Cool.
So I started selling solar, got back into cybersecurity, and then that's when, again, we made the jump into real estate, which then after we got our own, which is what led to property management. I went and had a sit down with Cody Barton. I was trying to offload property management at the time, and I was just like, but Cody was more of an acquaintance at the time.
Yeah.
We went and had lunch, and I was just like, dude, I want to work with you. I don't know how, I don't know where. What do you need help with? He's like, property management. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
and
right on.
Literally in the moment, I was trying to offload our house.
Yeah.
But I knew I was good at it, but I was just like, I'm not good enough. But then I was like, you know what? I want to work with Cody. So then I just went, all in on it and started researching more, reading more, figuring more out. We started doing really well with his, and then that's just where things have grown from.
So how'd you meet Cody Barton? How'd you know him?
Man, I don't know if you were ever in a network marketing company, but we were both part of a company called Vima.
Okay.
So it was Verve energy drinks, really popular out here for a while back in 2012 timeframe.
Okay.
So it was just a healthy energy drink.
Right.
And we were part of this community, and I was up in Michigan at the time. He was out here. I don't know if he knew as much of me because he was way bigger in the company.
Okay.
But I knew of Cody. And my brother and now brother-in-law, that's how my sister got married, was from this company, and how I met, a heavy hitter in that company too.
Really?
She now married him. And it's just funny to see, network marketing, it's got its rep, and different companies do get in trouble. Some don't. A lot of people don't like the style. I love, again, the community part of it. You really work with people to help them succeed, and then you can succeed. And we just knew each other through that community.
Right.
But then once my brother-in-law, but at the time wasn't, he started getting closer with him, and that's what ended up introducing us. Was just kind of through that company.
And so Cody wasn't doing anything he's doing now at that point.
No. He ended up pivoting from that company, and then started his real estate journey where he was just knocking doors, back in the cold calling and door knocking days when he was just getting after it. And I think he did that probably, I think he said he started that when he was about 19. So it was a little after that network marketing company days, or maybe he was doing it at the same time. I'm not sure, but
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's how I got introduced to Cody, which, Cody and Pace were partners, and just was a blessing to step into something that I didn't necessarily think I was ready for, but I said, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of, just trying stuff a little bit. I was like, I'm going to go all in on it. And it led me to the, basically being a reliable source to the entire subject to community, trying to be the source for it.
Right.
For short-term rentals.
Yeah. That's great, man. It's kind of like we were talking earlier about being imperfect. You know what I mean? Like you want so bad to like you were trying to offload your property because you were like, I'm okay at it, but it's not my thing. You know what I mean? I'm not good enough. And then like having an opportunity with somebody that you respected and wanted to work with, you were brave enough, instead of backing away from it, to say, you know what? Fuck it, I'm all in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then jumping into it and not knowing everything perfectly when you jumped into it, but taking that on, man. That's a perfect example of that for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how long ago was that? How long have you been all in on the property management?
So I still work the cybersecurity sales job
Okay.
during the day. Um, the property management stuff, it can keep you busy, but I feel like it's really easy, just spin-offs, like answer a question, go back to my, daily job.
Right.
So still doing it, but also do I think I could break free from the W-2? Yes. Does my risk tolerance comfortably allow me to?
Yeah.
No. So
right, for sure.
I'm not scared to go all in on something. I'm not scared to go all in on entrepreneurship. I just know with real estate, W-2s can look really pretty while you are still trying to scale and prove yourself.
Right.
We have one property. We could roll to two, and our goal is to do that pretty soon, and then quickly roll to three.
Yeah.
And then once I kind of get there where I have, I feel like 2 to 3 projects under your belt, you're going to have a lot more trust from lenders, banks, and you're not going to necessarily need the W-2 there.
Right.
So really just trying to not be too aggressive and find the right time to let it go. But
there's nothing wrong with that. I've actually heard from some people who jumped out of their W-2. There's, some people wait till it's the perfect time. Yeah. Some people, because you don't want a W-2. Nobody really wants a W-2. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who's also an entrepreneur. But so some people make that leap a little early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of them I've talked to who they're doing great now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But when they made that leap a little early, they're just like, another year. Yeah. I should have held on to it for another year or something like that.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is if you have a good flow and you can still, obviously entrepreneurship, you're trying to still scale it, mm-hmm. right? Like your goal isn't to get into entrepreneurship to not grow. You know, like right. I don't know anybody that's said, I want to work another job and it not grow and be something bigger. So, while doing that, in focusing on short-term rentals in specific, there's a lot of fun tax benefits to the W-2 world that it's like, hey, I can keep them both. I'm scaling and doing well in both. Yeah. And I have some extra tax, incentives that I get to play with. So right now, again, it's just like, it's working. So, but obviously I would love to just let it go and it's free up my day so much more to where I can be here, there, everywhere without any restriction. I do work remote. I can, I do have access to flexibility, but having full flexibility is definitely enticing. For sure.
Yeah. That's good though. It's good that you at least are, you're not jumping ship too quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're at least, you know what's right for you. Yep. You know what's good for you. Yep. You know what I mean? And I've heard from more people than not that hang on to that W-2 a little bit longer than you think you should have. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's a great idea, So your wife, when did you meet your wife?
I met her 2021. We met through Hinge, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. It was, we both had the same mindset. This is just not for me, but I'm just going to try it. Yeah. We connected. I was very surprised. I was like, this is way out of my league, but let's see again, kind of like with the property management stuff. Let's give it a shot. Let's go all in. But yeah, the communication went nowhere. Like it was like 2 lines of communication. That was it. I ended up deleting the app. A month goes by. Her and my sister, since my sister had lived out here in the Scottsdale area, they were social media acquaintances. And when I say acquaintances, I'm talking like far off acquaintances. Where see a random story and, just you go girl, go get it girl. Right. Like that. That's as close as they were. Yeah. Never met in person. So randomly, I think a month or 2 later after we had, matched on Hinge and the conversation went nowhere, she just messaged my sister, or my sister commented on one of her stories, and then she replied with, "Oh, thanks so much. Love the support." And then she's like, "Oh, funny story. I matched with your brother on a dating app a while back." And then my sister sent me a screenshot, and I was like, "Oh, cool." Like I saw the username. I went and looked at her profile. I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember her." And the naive side of me didn't look at the timestamp of when my sister sent me this message, and it was literally like 30 seconds ago, they were talking about that.
Oh.
And so I went and just followed her.
Yeah.
And she sends me a DM right away, and she goes, "She already told you," with like the little monkey covering its eyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so, strangely enough, me sending a follow request to her 30 seconds to a minute after her telling my little sister that we had, matched on a dating app, and she thought it was funny. I was like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I thought it was like, I felt like the biggest creeper ever." And then she goes, "Honestly, if you wouldn't have done it that quick, I probably would have forgot about the situation and let it be and not taken it serious."
Yeah.
So then we, reconnected through Instagram, got a number, invited her to coffee. She doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah.
So I screwed up multiple times, and she still gave me a chance. And we met up for a dinner and took it from there. So,
that's great, man. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. I like the stories that that do that kind of take this loop. There was little connections that were missed, but then it comes back around. It's really cool.
Yeah, and we don't really know if we should say we're a dating app relationship or an Instagram relationship, because it was kind of like pieces to all of it that led to our first dinner, which was like after we started talking on Instagram was like 3 weeks later. So it was like this really long process to finally figure out something. And she has 2 boys. So it was kind of, at the time I knew she had 2 boys, but she was waiting for when she wasn't going to have them for us to then have our first date.
Okay.
So it was a long process, but obviously well worth it. It worked out. So
how long before you guys got married?
We got married in 2023. So it was pretty much like after a year of dating, engaged, and faith is a big part of our lives, and a lot of prayer and a lot of peace.
Yeah.
That can be quick for a lot of people.
Right.
We're very aware it was quick, but at the same time, we had a lot of peace with it, and we just felt like, hey, we both align with our faith. We both align with morals and ethics. There's a lot of nuances that you can really start nitpicking on somebody. Like they don't like she doesn't hate football. She would say, she'd be upset if I use the word hate. She's not a fan of football.
Yeah.
I played college football. I love football. When it's football season, I want football on. She wants no part of it.
Yeah.
And like some people may say, "Oh no, that's not a relationship I want to be a part of." But to me, I'm like, the core foundation is there. She's a great mother. I've already seen her be a mother.
Yeah.
And her faith aligns with my faith, and the important foundation was there, and then everything else you can just figure out with a person. So.
Yeah, for sure. And you can't. I mean, if you wait to find that absolute perfect person that checks every box, like that's non-existent.
And you're never going to find them. And then after you find it, guess what? Everybody changes. Every day of their life, they're going to continue to change. And you found your check boxes, but 5 years from now, how many of those check boxes are no longer checked? Because they change as a person. So
yep, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And that's too, like, that's something that like, and everybody grows. Everybody should be growing anyway, at least, you know what I mean? And hopefully the goal is that you grow together, you know what I mean? And you learn from each other. And like, as one grows, the other one grows too, but you grow together, even though you're growing separate. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like the same things. You don't have to do the same things, as long as obviously core values are super important. You know what I mean? But then like, if you like football, she doesn't, she likes ballet, you don't, like, you guys, there's other things that you guys both are foodies, or you guys are both, there's something else where you guys connect, you know what I mean?
We
on
love
like
travel.
Fun stuff.
We love travel. We love food. So, we both have worked really hard on our personal brands. So she gets a lot of staycations, they'll either let us do it something for free, or we go and do a photo shoot with like JW Marriott Desert Ridge. Like we do, we'll do like a Christmas family photo shoot with them. They'll have a full production. We'll come in, we'll do a whole photo shoot evening, right, with the family, or just me and her. And then, they'll comp a weekend for us. And so
that's cool.
Or she'll just get them comped, So she'll kind of set up that stuff. And then, I'll set up the flights if I want to fly us anywhere.
Yeah.
We both love the food scene. And then that's what ended up being something where we kind of collaborated our skills. When I started taking property management serious,
Yeah.
for her whole life, she was like, she probably has logged more hours watching every HGTV show you could imagine.
Yeah.
She's watched them all.
Yeah.
And I would argue she's probably the number one, listener, watcher, viewer,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. And she never went to design school. She never went to anything official, but she just was kind of your, just, I hate the word like self-made, self-taught, but
Right.
she just didn't go and outsource anything for classes or look for any help. It was just like watching shows and learning and feeling the differences of styles. And then out of nowhere, she just was like, yeah, I'm really good at this. And I was like, you doing that, then leading it to my management, that could be really fun. And that's something that we don't like certain things in our life, but this is something that we both love, and it can be a business, and we can make money from it. So like we can, similar interests, similar fun, similar hobbies, but then it also can support the family. And then that's how we built, Kingdom Cribs. And so it's really funny how it worked. And our stories are very different with how I, had to go and do a bunch of work and research, and hers was just a lot more natural, just watching, learning. And then she's incredible at what she does. And you would think that she went to school for, 4 to 6 years learning it. But it just goes to show, I mean, anything you put enough hours in with, you can make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. And some people just like, they see it, you know what I mean? Like Deborah is a she loves doing design, you know what I mean? But she's a psychiatrist. She, it's literally just something she enjoys doing. And sometimes like she'll be like, I'm gonna paint this black, or I'm gonna do this color, I'm gonna do such and such with this thing. And I'm like, what? Really? I don't know about that. And then, I've learned to just be like, I'm not gonna say anything, you do whatever you do, and I'm sure it'll be amazing. And it always is, you know what I mean? And so it's, some people, it's their brain just sees that, you know what I mean? So you don't have to go to school.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Would love to hear how you guys met. Want to hear that side of the story.
Well, that was an internet dating story too.
Okay.
I got out of prison, and in, I guess, January of 22, and was joined like every dating app, you know what I mean? And I tried to just be normal first, you know what I mean? I tried to just, like, you see somebody in like Barnes and Noble or the grocery store or something like that, and so you say hi and you introduce yourself, or even like out when I was with my friends, like having a drink at the bar or something like that. And it's totally different. Like, talking to people in person is not at all what I remembered it being. The last time I was dating, which was 2010, was the last time I was dating.
Yeah. I mean, a lot changed from 2010 to 2020, but then with COVID as well. I mean, that changed everybody's mindset on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, lots of changes that were in between those, that
For
window,
sure. For sure. And then like, I know, like, people were scared when you went up and talked to them. It's like, I would go up to, a girl in Barnes and Noble or something, like, hi, how you doing? My name's Taylor. They'd be like, okay. Yeah. I'm just like, and immediately I'm like, well, was that bad? Like, I just introduced myself, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, I just saw you're really attractive, and I was just wondering, like, do you have a boyfriend or whatever? And it's like they were just appalled, like ready to blow their rape whistle, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was just like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't even know like this was a problem, you know what I mean? Because I grew up doing that, and it was always, if you got rejected when I was a kid, or I used to talk to, like, meet girls, see some girl and like walk up to her and introduce myself, the rejection was always like, oh, like, thank you so much, I appreciate it, that's so nice, but yes, I do have a boyfriend, but thank you. And I'm like, all right, well, he's a lucky guy, it's nice meeting you. And we would part, and it was just a normal interaction. Now it's like, why are you talking to me? Like, you're doing this in person. Like, they're scared to have that human interaction, which is way weird to me. But you're right, between COVID, between, Instagram and all the dating apps and stuff like that, it was just like, it's almost like people are like, oh, we're not supposed to meet in person. You know what I mean? Unless like, even at a bar, you know what I mean? It's like, unless your friend knows my friend and we meet that way, it's impossible to just like walk up and introduce yourself to a human being. Well, to the opposite sex anyway. You know, I could walk up and introduce myself, dude, like, yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
definitely a lot more barriers.
Yeah.
You gotta
yeah, which is strange to me. I mean, and I guess that makes sense now because like you see like you'll see like high school kids like at a restaurant and there's 4 of them sitting at the table and they're all on their phones. They're not talking to each other. You know what I mean? So they are talking to each other, but also 5 other people all on text message.
Yeah.
So I'm texting you and like 3 other people while I'm sitting across from you. Yeah. And so, I mean, things are changing. It's strange to me, you know?
The good old unsocial media.
Yeah.
I love social media for if you use it the right way.
Right.
I use it for personal brand and business, right?
Yeah.
I'm not on there to just like get lost for hours. I get on, I do what I need to do, check conversations, and I'm off.
Yeah.
But yes, it very much has turned into
unsocial media.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and it's just everything is through Snap. Like you would usually text, somebody, hey, guess what I just did? Or you'd call them, or you would talk to them in person about it. And now it's like, hey, look what I'm doing through Snapchat. Which I don't use that anymore. But yeah, man, it's tough to help these kids navigate that because you get so much attention through social media.
Yeah,
I think that's what's changed a lot of communication fabrics with people in general, especially opposite sex. Men and women, you can get so much praise and so much attention and so many nice things said to you on social media that it's almost subconsciously that you don't need it in person anymore.
Right.
Or when you do get it, it's like it feels weird because it's not coming from your main source.
Right.
So that's kind of where you said people are more standoffish because it's like, oh, I don't normally get it from here. This is weird. Right. When it should be the main source.
We're strangers. Why are you talking to me? Yeah. And I'm like, that used to be normal.
But
you used
then
to be able to walk up to
stranger-
somebody, introduce yourself to a stranger, and there'd be an interaction there, and then you would part ways. You'd either like get to know each other and be like, oh, this was a cool interaction. Let's continue this. Whether it was with, just somebody you thought was cool, or you just met like at the gas station, or whether it was with the opposite sex or something like that. Like, you used to be able to go up and ask a girl for her phone number and she'd give it to you and you'd go from there. Or she'd say she had a boyfriend or something like that. Now it's like you ask a girl for her phone number in person. They're like, what? No. Why would I give you my number? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've just violated her privacy or something. You know what I mean?
Or you're getting the wrong number and then you're calling some guy Brad. And he's like, no, I am not her. I'm sorry, but I have a lawn mowing business. You need your lawn.
Right.
So yeah, man, it is strange, but that the social media game changed a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, all that to go back to your original question. I was so I didn't really know what to do. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm supposed to get on these dating apps. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I got on one, and it was ish, and it's the communication on those is bad too. You know what I mean? And then so I just joined them all because I was like, all right, if I shoot a shotgun, something's bound to hit, and I've been in prison for 8 years, so it would have been nice to like have some female company. You know what I mean? Yeah. And having talked to women that I met who I'm friends with, or even like my sisters or something like that, like, and gotten the other side of the story, because from a male perspective, like you send messages to somebody, and then even if they respond, they're like, oh, hi, how you doing? You're like, I'm doing good. It's nice to talk to you. And then like, well, what do you do? Well, I do construction, or I do this, or I do that. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And then nothing. It just stops. Yep. You're like, okay, I don't know what happened there. And then like a couple days later, we get like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, hi, how are you? Like, we already had this part of the conversation. And so to me, it's strange. I'm like, are you not paying attention? Are you dumb? Are you like, well, this is weird. You know what I mean? Then I hear from the other side of the coin, and guys being guys, we don't have 400, likes in our inboxes. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. But like this one girl was telling me, she's like, man, I don't know what it was. It was Hinge or OkCupid or something, but she got on one of the dating sites, and it was the first one she'd ever been on. She's like, I signed up like that morning and I went to work and I came home and I had 400 messages. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's overwhelming on the female side of it, which I don't see on my end of it. I'm just like, we had this conversation already 2 days ago. You know what I mean? But like, she's like, how do you navigate that? You know, so that immediately puts you into window shopping.
Yeah.
Cute, not so cute, you know, hot, not as hot as the last 10 pictures I saw. You know what I mean? So now you're just going off looks because that's the initial attraction when you're going through 400 messages. You know what I mean? And then like, how long does it take you to narrow that down? If this isn't a full-time job, you have a life, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so then like, they're like, sometimes I forget who I messaged, you know, or I messaged 10 people and I finally narrow it down to 10 people I kind of am communicating with. And sometimes I lose track of which ones I said what to. And then like I narrow it down to like 4 that I actually give my number to. And then 3 of those send me a dick pic. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I had to go through all of this to send that, to finally find 4 that I thought were good enough. And 3 of them are trash. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know that on my end till I talk to somebody who's been through it. So I'm like, well, no wonder, man. But like it all sucks. So it's really just the one that kind of accidentally falls through that you catch. And it's kind of what happened with me and Deborah. I was on interracial dating, and she had just signed up. She was trying to sign up for a different one, and for some reason her pictures wouldn't, and she hadn't been on one before either. And so the other one she's trying to sign up with, like the pictures wouldn't upload or something. Like she's having some kind of a glitch problem with it. She's like, I tried for like 2 or 3 days to get it to work and it wouldn't work. So I was just like, whatever. So I went to this other one and it took my pictures, and she signed up that morning. And then I messaged her. I think, she messaged me first. She's like, hey, how you doing? I like gray hair. And I looked at her profile and I was like, oh, damn, she's pretty good looking. You know what I mean? I was like, well, that's good because I have a lot of it. You know what I mean? And she laughed. And then I was like, well, hey, I was like, you want to hang out sometime? And she's like, yeah, sure. When? And I'm like, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, nothing. So we met at a bar that me and my friend go to all the time, Pomeroy's. And we met there, and that was the first time we hung out. And she was way better looking in person than on her pictures, and she was really hot on her pictures. And that was it. We hung out. That was on a Wednesday. We hung out Friday and Saturday, and then she went to Bali for a week, and we talked on WhatsApp for while she was in Bali. And then she came back, and we just had an instant connection. Like, awesome. And I'm not somebody who jumps into relationships real quickly and easily. She's not somebody who jumps into relationships real quickly and easily. And it was a really, really strong connection. So we moved pretty quick too. I moved in with her. We met in October. Probably 3 months later, I moved in with her. And it was funny because even before that, like I was hanging out at her house a lot, and she like cut out a little bit of space for me in her closet, and her sisters and her daughters were like, "What? Like you gave him space in your closet?" Because like she never does that, and so it's been really fun. It's been really interesting. She's amazing. She is a big reason why I've been able to pursue the real estate avenue in the way we do. She was interested in real estate also, but she doesn't have the time to do it, obviously. I was just doing construction, you know what I mean? So it gave me the opportunity for me to kind of go full force into real estate and pursue some of these, some of the different communities that I got involved in and learn a lot of what I learned. And so I've been able to spend the last couple of years we took imperfect steps too with buying a new house. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I know this house hacking thing works. We're going to try that. And so we bought a new house, and I spent, a little less than a year remodeling the old house to get it ready. And then I remodeled the casita behind the house that we bought and threw them up on Furnish Finders for midterm rentals, and they were really great. Did really well. We were booked out with no vacancies for like 16 months. Then just recently we've had a couple vacancies, and so when I met you, you came and you were at Bash Brothers, and you talked about what you did and how you do it, and kind of your approach to it. And you said something that, because I've always just been like short-term rentals scared me, because I'm like, dude, there's a million short-term rentals. It's super saturated. Like, it seems like a whole lot of work for what if I do short-term rentals and I got 2 weekends a month? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't. It seems like a whole lot of work for not much of a payoff with as saturated it is. And I'd heard a guy talk about midterm rentals, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Because it was more consistent. Your caliber of renters are a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because they're traveling professionals. They pay their bills. They're not going to mess up your properties. Wasn't as much turnover. And short-term rentals are super saturated. You know what I mean? And you had made a comment that you were like, I love when people say that because it makes my job easier. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's not that there's a lot of them, but like, and I think we've talked about this before because it applies to midterm rentals too, but like the majority of them are trash. Mm-hmm. So if you have a nice property that looks good and you've got good pictures, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand the importance of that unless they have somebody who educates them on it or tells them and can kind of walk them through it and help them do that, which is great that you do that. You know what I mean? But it separates you from everybody else. And if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, and then you and I sat down and you kind of walked through, numbers with me for the area where my properties are. And I was like, holy shit, really? Mm-hmm. Like, I never even would have entered my brain that there was a possibility it could even get close to that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was nice to meet you and have somebody who's more educated in the short-term rental space and who is, and I think it helped too that we have good looking properties, but it was something that it was an easy step for us to kind of transition into mm-hmm. short-term rental, because there wasn't a whole lot we had to do with our properties from where we already were because of the brand we were trying to put out. And, but I really appreciate the fact that and so kind of the way I look at it with you right now is that we'll do a kind of a hybrid, you know what I mean? I know we have a rental coming up in January, from January till April, that we already have booked for midterm. And, if the midterm comes up and something's good, then great. If short term, blows my midterms out of the water, I'm all in for short term. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then especially like with the service you provide, like it makes my life so much easier that I can go and I can spend more time looking for mobile homes to buy. I can spend more time, and now I can run, the less time I have to spend on my rentals, the more time I can spend, running 3 or 4 mobile homes, or, going and taking care of all that, and then taking some of that money and putting it into another property. Yeah. And maybe some properties down the road where they are, or where I pick them up, will work for midterm rentals, and maybe some of them will work for short-term rentals. And I'm happy to go down that road, and whichever one works, I don't care which one works. Yeah. Whichever one works, I'm happy to make money off of them. So, yeah, so I guess that's a little more than you asked, but yeah, we met on social media, and, we connected really hard, really fast, and it's been a good 2 years. It's been a rough 2 years, but a good 2 years, just because there's been a lot. I've gone through a lot personally too, with just getting out of prison. You know what I mean? And just there's a little bit of inadequacy, a little bit of shame, having been in prison for, making a horrible decision in your life that was just stupid. I don't have a long criminal history, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse. It almost makes it worse in my brain, because I'm like, why did I do this stupid thing to begin with? You know what I mean? I wasn't doing it my whole life. It's not like it's the only thing I knew. I come from a good family that would be like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? So it's almost more shame, you know what I mean? So I've had to work through a lot of that. Deborah's been really great and really supportive with that. And it was cool because she's really encouraging as far as when I get down on myself, you know. And but that's been a journey. It's been a long journey for me to do a lot of mental work, a lot of mindset work, reading a lot of books, listening to some podcasts, and really another thing that helped a lot is just getting around really positive people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which the sub2 community helped a lot with that too, because everybody there really genuinely cares about you and wants to help you,
Yep.
which is not normal. And so it's really encouraging when you're trying to change yourself and you're trying to grow to have people around you that encourage that, and help with that.
Yep.
So it's been a long journey, a good journey, frustrating journey, but an amazing journey. And then seeing, especially just recently in the last 6 months or so, just seeing all the pieces start to fall together. You know, all the work that you don't see results from, all the work that it's like, when is it going to happen? When am I going? When is this worth it? Is it going anywhere? Is anything happening? And then like you kind of get to that point where you start to see those pieces fall into place, and then you're like, and you can look back and be like, oh wow, like I've done a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's finally starting to pay off as far as the business is concerned and the real estate is concerned. But you know, maybe God wasn't ready to give me these things because I had to go through this work first.
Mm-hmm.
God, the universe, whatever, you know, people believe out there. I'm a Christian, so I believe in God. But like, to me, there were a lot of answered prayers when I got out of prison. You know, prayers I've been praying for years, like, when's it going to be my time? When's it going to be my time? How hard do I have to work? And you know, how come all these other people, it's working out for them, but it doesn't work out for me? And then, sure, robbing banks sounds like a good idea. Let me try that, you know? And, oh, now I'm in prison, you know what I mean? And then spending time in prison being like, and I'm never one to be like, God, it's your fault. You know what I mean? I was never like that. But sometimes it's frustrating because I'm like, God, well, what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not your fault. I'm not blaming you, but what am I supposed to do? I don't see a pathway. You know what I mean? And I'm tired and I'm frustrated. And made this stupid decision. But like, I think I was already going down the pathway of personal growth before I made a really stupid decision, which is strange that I was already kind of headed in a good direction when I made this decision. But prison was definitely a blessing because blessing in disguise. I mean, it sucked. Of course, I would never want to go back. I wish I hadn't been there, but I also think that I went through a lot of personal growth being put into a situation I had no control over, being put around a lot of people. Not everybody in prison is, you know, a bad person or doesn't want to grow or doesn't want to change. But the majority of the people in prison are happy where they are. They're not happy being in prison, but they're just like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to be a better criminal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they don't want to change. They have no desire to get away from the drugs. They're still doing drugs in prison. You know what I mean? And then, but you do meet people that maybe they've been criminals their whole life and now they're just tired. You know what I mean? And they're smart enough to be like, you know, I'm done. I got a wife. I got 2 kids. I can't keep doing this. You know, I can't be here. And you build relationships with those people. And then there's, I think 2 people that I would try to keep in contact with since I got out, 2 or 3 people. But you're forced into a situation where you're surrounded by people that you don't relate to. For me personally, anyway, because I don't have a long criminal history. And even in prison, having committed a crime, my goal wasn't to figure out how to be a better criminal and get out and do it again. My goal was like, oh shit, I fucked up. You know what I mean? Made this stupid decision, embarrassed myself, embarrassed my family. And now I'm wasting 8 years of my life because I made this decision. And I can either drown in where I am and maybe become like the people that I'm surrounded with, or I can spend all my time and you know, I'm blessed that my mother sent me book after book after book after book. I had a whole giant library in prison, and I read so many books, a lot of them fiction, but a lot of them were mindset. A lot of them were business, history. I love history. And then the last 2 years, I just spent a lot of time reading real estate books. And to me, that was the first time that I really kind of saw a light at the end of the tunnel. I saw a pathway. Didn't really know exactly how to get there yet, but this stuff made sense to me, and it was a pathway. But I'm kind of going on bunny pass, ADD moment. But being around people that I didn't relate to and learning how to live with those people in that same environment, because you can't leave. I can't just be like, I don't like this guy, I'm out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't like this guy, but he's my celly, you know? And it really helped me grow as a person in learning how to be patient with other people, learning how to accept other people, learning how to be empathetic with other people. Like, I don't agree that you want to be a criminal for the rest of your life. I think that's stupid, but like, why? Mm-hmm. You know, well, this and that and this and that, and this is what happens when I get out. And, you know, it's, you don't, till you hear the story that I've been making 10 grand a week my whole life. I'm 30 years old and I've never had a job. When I get out and I don't have a job, I have no skills. So I would go, the only job I can get is at McDonald's or something like that, where I'm making, you know, $400 a week. I've got child support that takes 150 of it or 200 of it. Now I'm trying to live on $200 a week at my parents' house when I'm 32. Why don't I just go make 10 grand a week again? You know what I mean? Jail didn't teach me anything. Prison didn't teach me anything. You didn't give me any new skills. And so, like, hearing those stories, it makes you look differently at those people, and you understand that, hey, I don't agree with you. Like, there's got to be something better than going back to this, because the end result is coming back here again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or getting shot or getting killed or overdosing or something. You know what I mean? Nothing. There's no good end result in that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they can't see it. You know, how they were raised, who you know, maybe their mom and dad are addicts or criminals, and that's all they know. You know what I mean? And so it helps you open your mind enough to like learn to accept those people and learn from those people, even if you don't relate to those people. You know what I mean? And when we get out, you're probably not somebody I want to have in my life. Yeah. But then that translates to the real world, where when I'm around a bunch of people, and it makes me more open to listening and hearing other people, and more empathetic and more compassionate, which I've always had a problem with my whole life. I'm always like, you know what I mean? I'm compassion, you know what I mean? And I've worked really hard to kind of change that. And all that to say, I don't know where that started or how that.
It's good stuff. Yeah. I think the world needs more of it, you know, and that's something I learned on my mission trip. You know, you think you're going around the world not you or any of the listeners, but just in general, right? Hypothetical. You think you're going to help people when in all reality, like, you get helped way more, right? Yeah. And so a lot of that stems from what is my favorite type of traveling or just involvement with people is like, dress like the people, eat with the people, sleep where they sleep, like, be a part of people's lives, because everybody is going through every season of their life looking at, like you said, sometimes God, sometimes the universe, sometimes whatever, looking at their life, and they're so focused on where's my breakthrough. And everybody's in their own story. And I don't think we have that authentic, I mean, it's as clear as day. I don't like really talking about it, but you see it in politics. It's the perfect example of nobody can listen to anybody anymore, and it makes sense. It's like nobody wants to listen to understand. People listen to combat or listen to debate. Like, that's the world that we live in, is here to debate. Yeah. Why is my story, or why is my thought process better than yours? Right. And it's like, no, like, stop doing that. Sit down with somebody. If it's a prison story, if it's a work story, if it's a, you know, family story, you're going through something, a broken family, or you're really struggling with your wife or your siblings or whatever, like, sit with people, listen to people, because then they feel seen, heard, and loved. And any person that is seen, heard, and loved is immediately is like, I'll lock arms with you and we can do whatever. Right. That's what I feel makes relationships in the world go round. If everybody feels seen, heard, and loved, then you can feel a sense of identity, which I believe, like, we've chatted about. I believe it's rooted in God. My identity is I am a child of God. What am I supposed to do in my life? I'm supposed to be that.
Right.
Everything else is wonderful. So if we get the opportunity to sit with someone, hear them, maybe they haven't felt that or understood that about their identity yet, we get to give them at least a sliver of hope or a sense of that
Right.
in the communication, which then again unlocks just only better things. Like if someone sees or seems that they are seen, heard, and loved, at that point, they're starting to become a better person. They're starting to be able to sense their identity more. They're starting to be able to understand by them telling the story that they want to go back to prison. Maybe they get to sit with someone for the 100th time that's willing to hear them out, and then finally it clicks for them.
Right.
Man, actually, this doesn't sound so good anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but if they don't have that space, they're going to be in their own head, struggling with their own story,
right,
resulting in just the cycle, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I think the community and the networking, and I wish it wasn't on social media.
Right.
I feel like if we can keep getting deeper with people and having meaningful conversations, and sometimes it can wear you out. I'm very much a introverted extrovert. I don't know how to say it. Naturally, I want to be in a room by myself.
Yeah.
And that's how I recharge.
Yeah.
Like, everybody get away from me. I want to just be alone. But then when I do need to turn it on, I can. I go out, after this, I'm going to be driving home and I'll be like, I'm exhausted. Right. So, you get to work with many different people, many different lifestyles, and many different communication fabrics. But I feel like if we can just get deep with people and be willing to understand,
right,
even if somebody's like, hey, I like midterm over short term. Yeah. Cool. Why is that?
Right.
Not like, no, you're wrong. You can make twice as much doing short term. If you try to shove anything down anyone's throat, they're not going to accept that and want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So it's very much, let's sit, listen, collaborate. Maybe I'll start doing midterm. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, it's good stuff.
Well, and I've learned too that through the course of life, I used to be I'm still extremely opinionated, but I think the difference is that I'm more curious than I used to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm my goal in life is to learn. I always want to learn, and especially the last couple of years, even the last few years in prison, I was just I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to learn what I don't know. And the only way you can learn what you don't know is to talk to people who are doing what you don't know, doing what you don't know about. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or I have my opinion of short-term rentals. I have my opinion of midterm rentals. It's based off of my preconceived notion of short-term rentals and how they work, and an uneducated viewpoint based off of what you hear people talk about who are also uneducated. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I heard about midterm rentals. It sounded amazing. It made a lot of sense to me. I pursued it. It worked really, really well. Probably would still work really well. It's just, I've got a couple vacancies now, and of course vacancies, when I haven't had a vacancy for over 16 months, I get a vacancy and I'm like, oh!
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Start questioning everything.
Yeah. Which is of course part of any rental anywhere, you know what I mean? But when I sat down and talked to you, I'm like, all right, I hear what you're saying. It's interesting. I'm not sold on it yet, but let me sit down and talk to you. Yeah. Let me see, why do you think that this is a good pathway? Here's what I do. Here's how it's worked for me. I'd love to hear why you think what you think. You know what I mean? Or why you have this opinion. And what you said made sense, and it looked good. So shit, let's try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're not open to having those conversations or learning from somebody else, you don't ever grow. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with you. You know what I mean? With whatever it is that you're talking about with another human being, just listen, man. Yep. Find out why they think the way they think. Yep. You know what I mean? And hopefully you guys can connect in a way that, hey, I hear what you're saying. I understand why you think that way. I still don't totally agree. Hopefully you hear what I'm saying and you understand why I think that way, and we can agree to disagree, but still as friends with just a little bit better of an understanding of each other.
Of course. And I think a lot of that comes from, unfortunately, and what I think a lot of people have gained visibility into these last couple of years, which is typically the information coming from why you may not like short-term rentals, or why somebody may like this side of politics rather than that side, or right in the middle, whatever it may be, whatever topic, typically is coming up through sources of information that have the intention to sway your opinion, even if it has lies involved. And everybody, like, big sources of information typically always have that tied in. Right. For instance, you heard short-term rentals are oversaturated and people are selling them left and right, and the statistics are down. Look at these charts. Like, I was a math major. I get it. Statistics, they're accurate, but look at sports statistics. Like, they can get so minute and like fine-tuned statistics to make them look really bad. But it's like such a targeted, like, if you sit down and actually find out what that stat was, it has no, it's not involved with the bigger picture at all. Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at, for instance, short-term rentals, you hear the whole oversaturated regulations. Like, is some of that true? Yes. But is it a multi-billion-dollar force coming from the big names? I don't want to say any names on your podcast, right? But think of the biggest hotel chains out there. They're not marketing on billboards anymore.
Right.
They're marketing through everything they can to dump as much information into the world that tells everyone why short-term rentals aren't working. So whatever you saw was sourced from probably one of those billion-dollar hotel companies, who you're their main competition. Right? Yeah. You're just a small fish. You own it, like, oh, I own an Airbnb. It's like, you're not a competitor to them, but the whole thing is.
Right.
So they're fighting. And then what it is like, when they fight you with all that marketing, they're fighting you directly. So you're going up against a multi-billion-dollar marketing force.
Right.
And so that's the information that we let kind of seep in. But then again, if you get to sit with somebody, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm this like ultra seasoned professional, but we've had success, right? And,
for sure.
And the numbers don't lie. And I think that's always critical in real estate. Like, let somebody show you the numbers.
Yeah.
Put them in, show me your software. I don't want to see some Excel sheet that you can type up whatever you want to type up. Like, show me the source. I want to see the numbers.
Yeah.
And if it has worked and can work, and somebody has a method where it can make you more and you have to work less, jump on it.
Right. And two, like, what's the benefit of me being like, no, my way is the right way? Yeah. I just cost myself money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And what's the worst that can happen? I try it. It doesn't work out. And I go back to doing what I was doing.
Correct.
Like,
it'll still make you money. It'll still make you money, but let's say it ends up being just the same amount.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm not a huge fan of like so many transient guests coming.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pivot back.
Well, and that's the thing too, like with real estate, that you learn from people, at least in our community, who try to give you fairly accurate information and try to help you mitigate issues that come up, is there like always be ready to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you buy a house and the only strategy that works is short-term rental, is that the best way to buy a house? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If short-term rental, something happens and that city comes in and is like, we outlaw short-term rentals, can you pivot to something else?
Or Airbnb, or something happened at your property and Airbnb flagged your property, and until an owner change happens, you can't list. Like, those platforms can shut you down too.
Yeah.
So
and like the way I look at it is like, if I can make a ton of money with short-term rental, awesome. If it doesn't work, if I'm not making money on it, maybe I pivot back to midterm. Maybe midterm slows down, and for some reason they have too many nurses in Phoenix, and so nobody's traveling to Phoenix or something like that. Then maybe I'll just pivot to long term. You know what I mean? And at least I'm just paying my mortgage, and I'm appreciating. I have depreciation, and I've got tax breaks, which are all positive benefits to at least just having my rent paid. You know what I mean? So there's so many different angles to pivot to. And so you should always be available to pivot. But if you don't talk to people, and you don't open-mindedly listen to what somebody else has to say, how do you know to try something different?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
For sure.
And then that just unlocks, like you said, I mean, cool. What if you do it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, you know, and you pivot back? But think of all the things you're going to learn. Think about all the people you're going to meet, all the new networks you're going to have access to.
Yep.
Because you tried you try short-term rental with me, and let's say in a year you're just like, hey, I want to pivot back, and it's making me more, but we just want to go back to what we were doing. We feel more comfortable doing that, right? Because everybody has, like I was talking about earlier, risk tolerance and preferences, and like, it's your business, your property, your house. Who am I to, you know, try to get you in a contract where it's like, nope, you see right here, 12 months, you can't do anything. Like, real estate loves speed. So, you know, if you need to pivot, I keep my contracts real simple and like, hey, it says 30 days. Let's finish out the next 30 days. But like, if you need to pivot and you need to do something, who am I to restrict you from that? It's your property.
Well, and that's the thing too that I really appreciate about you specifically is that when we sat down and talked about, you ran the numbers for me and we sat down and talked about it. And like, I asked you questions, you genuinely had answers without a sales pitch. You know what I mean? So I never felt like you were like, oh, well, hey, this is this and that, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I never got the impression that I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Where like I feel like you're full of shit about half of what you said. You know what I mean? You really like broke it down. You were 100% in the moment and really like trying to break down the property and the properties around it and where you were getting for your information, explaining where you were getting your information. And then on top of that, being like, listen, my goal with my business is to do like a white glove service. I want to provide the best possible thing for you that I can provide, the best possible service. And I'm not trying to rake you over the coals to do it, because what happens is if you can provide me with the kind of service that I can appreciate and is a positive experience for me, all I'm going to do is recommend people to you.
Correct.
And that's how your business grows. And so having that kind of an attitude with your business, as opposed to like a salesman attitude where you're just trying to sell me on this thing, but maybe you're not going to put as much effort into it. Maybe you don't care. You're just trying to get as many people as you possibly can, just to like, you know, shotgun them at the wall and something will stick. You know what I mean? And that's what I appreciated about you, and is really honestly why I was like, sure, let's try this. You know what I mean? Because of the feeling I got from you and the genuineness that I got from you, which I really appreciate. So I just give you a compliment on that. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, that means a lot. And something I've always really wanted to do, because I don't, you know, any industry, anywhere, there's always people that are bad apples, right? They're everywhere.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, real estate, I am yet to run into one, but I do know there are bad apples in real estate, and I don't have a bone in my body that could screw somebody over. Yeah. I couldn't even do it if I tried.
Yeah.
You'd see it in my face. Like, as I was trying to do it, like, you would see it happening. And so it's like my wife, like, she couldn't lie if she tried. And like, whenever she's like joking about something, like, you can just tell right away. It's just like, that's not true.
Yeah.
You know? And so, I would wear it on my sleeve, and I think it is really important. You know, I have a pretty strong sales career. I know how to sales methodologies where you can talk to people where it doesn't feel salesy, but it is sales, because I still have to like pitch the opportunity.
Right, of course.
But you really just learn, like you said, you know, just being genuine and just authenticity. Like, you can sense from somebody, like, when I get done talking, I'm like, whoa, I was really into that. Yeah. But it's like, you can tell when people care about stuff. Right. You know, if somebody really is wanting to show you the possibilities, and you can sense that and feel that, and you're just genuine and authentic as you're portraying it. You know, again, that's kind of the thing where you're like, hey, I'll hear you out. Right. And if I give you that opportunity, or if I earn your trust in that time, I'm going to take that time very serious, and I want to show you what's possible. And that's what I'll always tell people too, when I'm sitting down with them, showing the numbers. I'm like, I don't care if you do it with me. Yeah. I don't. But like, you're in a community that is looking to acquire and move fast and acquire more, right? Like, the goal in the subject to community and all these creative deals is to be able to move faster, because, you know, conventional and traditional ways are way more money up front. So I understand the community, I understand the goals, and I understand how you're trying to operate. So I'll keep my funds low, right? I'll show you what's possible. Hey, you do no work, you can make potentially 2 to 5 times as much in short-term rentals if it's the right place, you know, that the upper portion of that bracket. And why not make way more so you can acquire more, but you're doing none of the work, which then gives me more work, which then the cycle, you're making a bigger revenue, we're paying out referral fees so somebody else is winning, and then we're getting more clients, because at the end of the day, like, our end goal is to sell the company, right? Like any company, you want to build it to be able to either hand it down or sell it. Like, maybe I don't right now, the goal is to do that, it'd be the retirement, but maybe it's something I pass on.
Right.
And it just gets to a point where I build it to where I don't have to do anything and it can just run, and I pass it on, and, you know, awesome. But you get to really try to express that in an authentic way, tell people what's possible, because again, I understand that you guys are trying to move.
Right.
And if I can provide you education on how you can make more, let's say we double revenue. Yeah. And now you have double the opportunity. Like, you're buying 2 properties instead of 1 with that cash flow.
For sure.
Or if we 3x your revenue compared to what a long-term would be. Long-terms nowadays, you're making 100, 200, 300 bucks a month.
Right.
If you're lucky.
Right.
Like,
if you're lucky.
500 if you're blessed.
Right.
and $100 to $500, cool. But let's say on average, you know, let's call it 200. Okay. 2 years worth of your income, your revenue there is like, AC unit goes out, you lose 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, what if we were doing, you know, for instance, a house in Scottsdale, we did 19K in 1 month. And it's like, and our personal, I think the highest we've ever made with our personal house is 16K. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's literally 2 years of revenue you would have made on a long-term rental over top of your mortgage. Like, it's like, you know, let's say the total out of pocket 4K. Cool. You made 16. That's 12K. Yeah. You weren't going to make that for 2 years on a long-term rental. You did that in a month.
Yeah.
Now, if an AC unit goes out, you don't have to pivot and say, I can't go and afford these other houses that I wanted to go and buy. Now you get to say, oh, cool, I had the cash flow, right? I've got my emergency real estate fund here.
Right.
Set, boom, get an AC unit in there, and you're still cash flowing those other months, and you can still be working on projects. It's like, I feel as though the longer the tenant is, the lesser the cash flow. So like, the longer you're willing to have somebody in the house, the lesser opportunity you have for your future acquisitions. Right. Because real estate loves speed. So the transient guest is your source to that speed.
Right.
They're in and out a lot. As long as you've got a manager that knows how to manage expectations of taking care of the property, somebody who's not going to allow the property to get distressed, somebody who's going to pay attention to it like it's theirs. It's going to make you a lot more money. It's going to bring a lot more projects, and it's going to help you in those, like, I can't be in real estate anymore because I got to pay for this AC unit. Right. Like, that's emptying. That's not, now I have to extend outside of the business funds. I got to go into my personal funds now to like pay for this.
We've actually just experienced that with the Laurel property. We actually just changed the AC unit.
Okay. So like, when that stuff happens, it's like, man, well, what if that one March month, you know, what if I could have just had that?
Yeah.
And I didn't give Tyler the time to sit down. You know, I just was opinionated and I said, no, it's not my, you know, alley. I'm going to leave it be.
Yeah.
Well, what if somebody knows how to do it? Like, sometimes you learn it and you do it yourself. Awesome. Yeah. If you want to learn short-term rental, do it yourself. Awesome. If you want to just listen to me, get education, learn it. Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
I want you to make a lot of money. I want you to be successful, if we're partnered or not.
Yeah.
Or you could say, hey, I know it's a lot more work. I know it's a lot more money. Somebody can do it all for me. It's going to make me more money, and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I can think about it less than I was with my midterm, and it's going to make me more money. Cool.
Right.
Now you get to go and do something. And then I'm building this business to like not do as much with it.
Right.
And so everybody's just working on finding more time in their life.
For sure.
So yeah, dude, just painting the authentic, genuine picture of what's possible, not some pipe dream.
Yeah.
People can spot a pipe dream
for sure,
real quick.
For sure.
And if you can't, then you're, again, getting to the point where you're kind of burning somebody. Like,
right.
even if you're like, oh, I'll just give it a shot, and I think we can do well with her property. It's like, even if I sense it, I sit down with people, and I've said no to like 30 properties because I'm like, nope, this isn't going to do it. You're not going to be happy.
Yeah. And see, and
why would I spin my wheels?
Like, I would so much rather have somebody, like, if you told me, you're like, you know what, I don't see this really working out well. It's probably not a good short-term rental property. I would appreciate that so much and just be like, right on, man. Well, I appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Appreciate you doing that for me. And I would be like, oh, you're into short-term rentals? You're thinking about short-term rentals? You know what? Tyler will shoot you straight. You know what I mean? I'm still going to send people to you because you're still being genuine about the moment as opposed to, like you said, you know what I mean? Pipe dreaming somebody just so you can get a property.
Yeah. And I mean, as simple as what you did today, you let me know that your neighbor has one. Yeah. She called me. She already, like, we talked for 10 minutes and she already wants to onboard. Boom. There's revenue to you every month. Yeah. So for the,
and how many property managers do that?
Again, and that kind of comes from speaking on earlier, that comes from my network marketing background where I'm like, referrals are cool. And you can say like, oh, here's $500, you know, or something like that. But like, business works best off of word of mouth, right? That's the best style of leads, word of mouth. And then comes, well, I'm such a like advocate of people working together to help each other be better. And like, if you just create this web of everybody makes money off of everybody's deals, that's how the wealthy are wealthy, because they're all doing business together. Exactly. Like, you look at the big dogs, the, you know, BlackRock, Vanguard, like they all own each other's companies. Right. Like everybody owns everybody's company. So wherever money is in our economy, they're all winning every time. I don't like this industry, but cool, I still own part of this company. So I want that to be the process where, like, cool, it'd be awesome if I got that big. That would be insane. But, you know, the idea is all you need to do is make an introduction, and now every month you'll get paid 2% of the revenue. On a 20K month, you know, that's you didn't do anything, and then boom, $400 hit your bank account for literally, it took you 5 seconds. Right. Hey, I got a neighbor. They want help with their property. That was all you had to do. And she already called me and was already like ready to go. Yeah. So, and now you get potentially $100, $200, $300, $400 a month again. And it's another way for you to, like, I'm trying to create this wheel of referrals win, clients that I get start referring. So now my clients are making more on their properties and they're making referral fees, which is what you're stepping into now. Right. And imagine you get 100 of those where everybody's making more money. They're acquiring more properties. They're making referral fees. We're making more business, which is revenue on, you know, the total gross revenue of the house. So I want to make more. So I make more and you make more and you get more properties, more referrals. And it just snowballs, you know, and it moves quick. Yeah, so I feel like we tried to create something that really was the everybody together story. Yeah. And yeah, so far so good. And, I'm just hoping it doesn't explode to the point where I'm just like out of ideas. But I've got some great friends, great companies. Cody Barton, he's got Scale with Pros, where you basically can just like bring on their whole executive team and all their processes, and they'll set up your whole back. So like, if I ever just excessively explode, I'll just be like, Cody, help. Right. Here's 50% of my business, make it run. You know, and that would, you know, probably be the first person I go to. But yeah, man, it's
and that's a great problem to have.
Yeah. Again, definitely not there yet, but it all starts with being authentic and not presenting a pipe dream, right? And if you can continue to do that, that's where trust is built, and trust is gold, especially in real estate. I mean, I said it earlier, we haven't been burned. We not intentionally, but I think we've just found people who are not great at what they do. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say like have, you know, screwed us out of a deal and you've had to go to, you know, get legal teams involved and all that kind of stuff. Like that's a nightmare. But we've just had people that are like, no, we'll get it done and it'll be great. And then they do it and it's not great and you can't ever get them back there. And it's just like, you paid a lot to now have to go pay somebody else to double up on what you wanted to pay for, you know, X project. So,
and really that's, you know, it sucks every time that happens, but it's the journey. It's part of the learning, you know what I mean? Yep. And I would like, there's not I tell people that are worried about like, well, what if it doesn't work out, or what if I lose money, or you know, what if it costs me money, this and that, and I'm almost like, you don't know. There's not one human being on this planet who is insanely successful who hasn't lost money. Sometimes a lot,
and lots of it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, it's just something that, you do something, it doesn't work out, you lose some money, or maybe you don't even lose money, but it just didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Like, it's all a learning process.
Yep.
Boom. I learned this. I figured this out. I see what I did wrong here. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, but next time I'm going to do it this way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because then that next project, after switching over to a short-term rental, that next project, you know how to do it better,
Yep.
more efficiently, to where, let's say you had to you've dumped 6 figures into a house, and then the next project you now can dump 70 into the house, but do the same thing because you're going to be able to do it more efficiently. And then the next one is like, okay, cool, now I just only need 50 because I've even fine-tuned it more.
Right.
And
for
so
sure.
the bigger you get, the better you are. And yeah, I mean, that's where people stop. They'll either stop at this is too hard, it's not coming quick enough, that instant gratification, or they get burned once and they're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it scares them away.
Yeah, and I think that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think I'm blessed that I'm stubborn. You know what I mean? Like, I once I believe in something, and I feel like with the real estate, you know what I mean? Like, as many books as I read, and then when I got out, like, the people I met, there's plenty of people on YouTube that are full of shit. You know what I mean? And they're look at my gold chain and my Ferrari that I got by literally doing nothing but watching one YouTube video for 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. And
the pipe dreams.
Yeah. Like, I know you're full of shit,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? But then when you meet people that are genuine, like, I don't even know how to explain it. And I mean, the community that Pace builds, I don't know, not everybody likes Pace. I honestly believe that people who really don't like Pace don't really understand him, or haven't put out the effort to understand him. Not that Pace is perfect or doesn't make mistakes or anything, but what he's created, I think, is bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was genuine enough and authentic enough to create a community where people care about each other, and where people genuinely want to see other people succeed, and where everybody is so averse to screwing somebody over. You know what I mean? Because if there's ever a bad apple in the community, Pace will kick them out. In addition to the fact that, like, the people in the community are just like, well, they'll ostracize them by themselves. You know what I mean? So it really incentivizes everybody in the community to help everybody else out, and to make sure, like, hey, I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to do anything to screw anybody over. You know what I mean? And, like, it feeds itself. Like, it's like it continuously feeds. It's like the monster, and you feed the monster and the monster gets bigger. Mm-hmm. But this is the opposite of a monster. You know what I mean? It feeds itself, and it's growing and growing and growing, and it's growing full of a bunch of people that are positive, genuine people who want to help people out.
Yeah, man, and that was where the blessing of, when I decided to say yes to Cody, it just so happened that some of the properties to manage were combination Cody and Pace properties. Mm-hmm. And so then all of a sudden, I'm a guy who has one property, my own personal property. We didn't have a pool at the time, and we didn't realize, like, we ended up getting a pool. It's in Old Town Scottsdale, in-ground pool. And I told you earlier today, we had this little stock tank pool. We wrapped it in bamboo. We tried to create this, like, lounge water feature. It was like 700 gallons, so, like, 6 people could fit in it, and people would love it. Like, it was, it was really cool, really modern, and, like, chic. And, but, I was just like, we were struggling at the time, and, like, we were making it work, but, like, it wasn't short-term rental income. And, we just hadn't got the amenities we needed. And then we were made $1,900 May when we had that stock tank pool. The next May it was like $8,000 with a pool.
Yeah.
So the amenities really matter, but that kind of goes to say, I was just doing okay with one property, and then I got access to Pace and Cody, And like now I'm like, if I'd have said no there, I'd literally be like, I'd be so upset with myself, right?
Yeah.
And I said yes to it, and then it worked out. And what did that do? It was kind of the like, give it a shot. It may be imperfect, or I may screw this up, and 6 months later they may be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And it worked out. And what did that do? That literally gave me access to thousands of people and immediate trust.
Yeah.
Because I work with Pace and Cody, immediate trust.
Right.
And so we don't take it lightly. I don't take advantage of having access to immediate trust, as you can, you discussed, like
Right.
still stay genuine about it, but it's unlocked communication to, we're doing a property in Texas, 2 properties in Texas with Belgium, a couple investors from Belgium.
Nice.
And I was introduced to a guy in the Netherlands, Kenny, and he basically gave me, he's like the head of Sub 2 in Europe, and he gave me access to all his people in Europe, and they're all doing deals over here.
Yeah.
And now my wife's flying to Austin, Texas to design a home that she's doing right now. They bought it. She did everything from get the keys to get photos ready for Airbnb.
Wow.
And so she's doing that for them, and then putting the photos in my lap, and I'm listing it. And it's a couple guys from Belgium that we hop on some calls with and talk with. But again, it's just like, it's amazing what that one yes,
right,
one uncomfortable yes will do. It'll unlock what I would have never expected in my life. Like, I'm doing real estate deals with people in Europe. Like,
yeah,
this is crazy. So
yeah, that's so great, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a lot of fun, and just kind of goes to show, if you just do the right things, you treat people the right way, and you get a part of communities and networks that are actually trying to take massive action.
Right.
Just keep showing up, and it's gonna work.
For sure.
Just keep showing up.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes me think too, like when I had a lot of prayers where I was just like, when's my time? How come it hasn't happened for me yet? What do I have to do? I've worked hard. I did all the right things, and it still didn't work out. So I guess maybe I'll just do the wrong thing and see if that works out, which it didn't. But like, I really believe that I've gotten to the point now where through my 20s and my 30s and all through my 20s, I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing. I knew more than you did. Everybody was stupid. You know what I mean? And it's my job to prove to the whole world how stupid they are. So I'm definitely not growing. What's God going to bless me with? You know what I mean? If he gave me everything I asked for in my 20s, what would I have done with it? Mm-hmm. And in my 30s, I was kind of starting to grow, but I wasn't there. And then spent 8 years in prison, and it gives you the opportunity, if you want it, to spend a lot of time growing. Mm-hmm. Because you have no responsibilities, you have no bills to pay, you have, obviously it's a shitty place to be, you know what I mean? But like, you have nothing to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you watch TV, you go work out, you read, and I feel so bad for people in there who either don't know how to read or just don't like to read. But I spent so much time reading, and like, just that in and of itself, like, helped me grow. And then, like I said earlier, being in that situation itself helped me grow. And then as I got out, I like my mindset when I first got out was like, I finally see a pathway to something better, and I'm going to pursue this so that I can take care of myself. And then it was like, all right, as I grew and as I met more people and got into communities that, like Paces that were filled with genuine people, I was like, you know what? Now, and I got a girlfriend, you know what I mean? Now I want to do this so that me and my girlfriend are taken care of. You know what? I want to take care of my family too. You know what I mean? If there's anybody in my family who's having a hard time, and maybe I can give them an opportunity. Maybe I can show them something. You know what I mean? Maybe I can do something. I can make enough money that I can help out my family in some way. And then it was like, you know what? I want to help out my friends too. Mm-hmm. And then it just gets to the point where it grew to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I just want to help everybody. If there's anything that I know that I can tell anybody that will help them, I'm all about it. And at the same time, I'm genuinely in a place where I'm hungry to learn from other people about the things I don't know. So I can turn around and pass them on to people as I learn them. You know what I mean? And I think that's when God was like, now you're ready. And that's when the pieces started to fall into place, you know? And I think a lot of times it's not that God's not there. It's not that he's not answering the prayers. It's that you're not ready for what he has for you yet. So
yeah, it's he wants abundance in every area. We as people chose against that, and that's what resulted in a not so fun world in general. But yeah, man, I mean, something that I heard it in a song, but I love living by it. You know, I want to be remembered for what I did, not what I had. And that just goes with like, things are cool, man, but like, it's just always, there's more, like, you know, it's just, there's always more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a beautiful house, beautiful wife, I have an awesome car, you know, and all these things that, like, when I was 18, I've been like, that's it. That's the pinnacle, you know, and then you get here and it's like, we just naturally reach for more, right? Well, obviously, like, I look to my faith. That's where I get my fulfillment.
Right.
But to say that, like, material things don't impress us and catch our eye, and like, want to, oh yeah, I kind of want that.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, I want another Airbnb. Oh, I want another one. I want another one. I want another one. And like, it's always going to happen. Yeah. Always. So, you know, is it going to be something where it's like, you know, is everybody proud of you when you hang it up and or pass away or whatever it may be? You know, were people proud of you how you got there? Or, you know, even in like having, like, I'll even look at it and I'll be like, when I sit down with God, I want to, like, you hear the whole, I want, you know, good and faithful servant, right? You did things, whatever you were given, you stewarded the right way.
Right.
And I want that to be something that I can find fulfillment in, is knowing like, hey, I did a lot of dumb stuff in my life, but also at the same time, like, gifts that I was given from God, because he only wants to give abundance, right? And like those things that he did give me, I was able to steward those the right way and steward those relationships the right way and help other people get out of bad situations. And, you know, you've been through something that's not great, but now look at you, like you're trying to create something that can change that. Like, who knows, you may start some business someday where it's just like the dudes get out of prison, they go straight to Tabor, and you're just like the source of real estate. You've got programs for them, you've got funding, lending, all this stuff set up for them. Who knows? But like, at the same time,
that's actually what I've said this to people before. That's actually, like, I know at Squad Up this year, Pace was like, what's your Mount Everest? And that's become my Mount Everest, is literally that.
That's
like,
awesome.
Where if you genuinely want to change and you genuinely don't see a pathway, I've made 10 grand a week since I was 15 and I'm 30 and I've never had a job and I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But I'm tired of doing what I'm doing. I can't do this again. Somebody who gets out, or it doesn't even have to be prison. It can be prison. It can be, you know, addiction. It can be, you know, any kind of a hard situation, but like somebody who just genuinely just is really trying and wants to do something better with their life and wants to grow, but they have no options and they have no pathway. I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? If I want a business where I'm doing, you know, 5, 6, maybe 10 mobile homes at a time that I'm flipping, and I'm not doing them anymore. At this point, I'm not even running them anymore. I'm paying somebody else to run them and take care of it. But I've got crews that work for me. So I can take you and I can be like, listen, I'm going to put you in this crew. He's like, I'll give you this job. I'll pay you good money. You show up to work on time. You stay clean and you bust your ass and you learn everything you can learn about this job and how to do this job. And I'll keep in touch with the person that I'm putting you under, and I'll take care of you. And then they do that, and maybe however long it takes them, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, but I can go to the guy and be like, dude, he's my guy, man. Like, he's busting his ass. He works hard. I can rely on him. Then I'll be like, do you want to learn something else? I'll take you and I'll put you, because I'm not into wholesale, but and maybe I get into wholesale trying to find mobile homes to purchase, to put into that. Maybe I have a wholesale section, but I'll either put you somewhere else in my business or put you in a business of some, maybe I know I've got a guy that I work with that I'm partners with or have a good relationship with who has a whole wholesale company or something. But I'm going to put you in this aspect of the business, and you bust your ass, and you don't have to like it, but you bust your ass and you do everything you can. And we'll talk again in 6 months. You know what I mean? Hey, I did everything I could do. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Or maybe, man, this was even better than what I had before or whatever. But then I'll take you and I'll put you in 3 or 4 different pieces of the business. And I'll try to teach you everything I can teach you about that business. And the end goal for me is for you to start your own business, for you to build your own real estate investment company and move on and help somebody else.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of, well, I mean, that's my Mount Everest, I guess, is to be able to build something big enough that it includes all those other people. So, I don't know, hopefully that works out.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the people around you, the platforms keep showing up, and I think it's possible. And if it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to be.
I agree.
And that's just the thing, is it's like, yeah, you can get upset. Of course, every emotion is always valid.
Right.
But at the same time, okay, it didn't happen. But then you can look back and you're like, oh, wow, but actually, there were 100 people just in the community that I like introduced to other people, and then they ended up going and crushing it, and just because you're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're already you are already helping me with, the new client with the property in Sedona, and that's, potentially going to help her do better. And like, you're already helping people.
Yeah.
You're already at your Mount Everest. It's just like, you just want a little bit more branding, marketing, and like a little bit more Tabor on it.
Yeah.
Cool. But like, you're already doing the thing,
Right.
So that's also something that I always try to remind myself is, we can always want more. We can always want that Mount Everest. But if you really look at it, like, the pieces are already happening. The steps of you wanting to help people is already happening, right? And you're stewarding it the right way.
Yeah.
Right? You're operating out of authenticity, and you're genuine, and you're not scared to communicate on your past and where you're going in your future.
Right.
Like, you're doing it all the right way. And so that's the cool part about it, is then you just find a bunch of people that are doing it all the right way, and then you all grow together, and you make other people's lives easier, and it gets to be really fun.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's been a fun journey so far. Sometimes frustrating, sometimes a little scary, but definitely a fun journey. And the further along I get, the easier it gets, and the doubts start to fall away, because you start to see the reality of where it's going, and that's nice.
And all you got to do is do it once. Once you do it once, the thing you doubt, or the thing you're like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for my first property. But you do it, and then you're like, dang, this ain't so bad. And the next one you get, it's way easier. And it's just like, it's just all it is a career of doubts. And it's like, all right, you just know that every 3 months, 6 months, a year, there's going to be another doubt, and you're just like, okay, cool. The last 10 I knocked out, so I'm just going to do it again. And you just, as long as you can keep showing up, keep knocking out the doubts, man, it's possible. Obviously, you got to do your due diligence and make sure the numbers are right on paper, and like not be clueless and naive.
At least be smart about it,
right? Don't be naive, but and some of them are not going to work. And then that was your thing for that year, where you talk, like Eddie talks about the house that I don't know, he's got this story he tells all the time, and like that was his thing he's going through right now, and then he's going to get past it, and then there's going to be another thing, and
he still owns that house, and the horror stories he's been through with that house.
And so they're going to happen. But obviously that's when the books and the help from other people and the education around, okay, well, great that I'm dealing with this one thing that's going to teach me how to be better next time, but great, I also listened and learned to the conversations I had around managing money. For sure. And like, when am I supposed to jump into another deal? Or when am I supposed to make the right, or the next move to make it the right move?
Right.
And you didn't go and buy this house and then have all these problems, and you have no money. like at that point you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're getting foreclosed on. You're like, that's just mismanaged money.
Right.
So obviously, again, you got to educate yourself on that side of the ball game, but just dealing with the hurdles, showing up every day. Real estate's crazy, man. Once I really got into it, I was just like, tax benefits, lots of money, lots of people that are just like around to help each other.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do this sooner?
Yep.
I tried to get into real estate when I was a senior in high school, graduated high school in 2008. So not a great time to be interested in real estate.
No kidding, right?
So I was a senior in high school. My junior and senior year, we had this thing in Michigan called EFE, so Education for Employment, and you could go off-site from your high school for half the day to go and work. If you're a good standing student, you could go and work a job, make money. You could go to another school and take a class that they offer. So like junior and senior year, I went to Kalamazoo Central High School, where Derek Jeter went to school.
Oh, really?
And inner city school in Southwest Michigan. So did a architectural drafting class there. So I was planning on going into architectural drafting. I'd like already have the blueprint built for my dream home. Wow. And I did that as a junior, senior in high school.
Oh, that's cool.
So all I got to do is hand it to builders and boom, like I'll hand it to you. You can build it for me. Right. Yeah. So, I was going into that and just was so interested in real estate, commercial, residential. It just was like all interesting. But then 2008, it was a different time. It wasn't like entrepreneur encouraged time. It was like, go to college. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't go to college for real estate because I was going to go to Robert Morris in Chicago for the architectural drafting. Oh, okay. But then it was like, okay, the market crashed. So I'm not going to do that. Right. And I kind of got scared out of it because I was just a young, dumb kid. I didn't know any better. I was like, well, houses aren't worth anything anymore. Like they're $5 now. Yeah. So that doesn't seem fun. But then obviously, real estate always goes up. So once I really started looking into the industry, which was 4 years ago now, 5 years ago probably is when I really started looking into it and learning more, getting more serious about a year after that. And I just saw all of the amazing things. I'm just like, why is everybody not in this? If you don't have money, guess what? There's somebody that does. Yeah. And you're not going to have full ownership of the house, but who cares? You're in. Yeah. You create a deal with an authentic and genuine lender or private money, whatever it may be.
Private money partner. Like Pace told me, he was like, because I was talking to him, I was like, I'm not going to go to Pace and be like, I don't know where there's any money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he's like, have you listened to anything I said? Right. But, but I was like, it's I'm not really sure how to find it. He's like, you've got imposter syndrome. He's like, you're just in a situation where you never had to ask before. Yeah. And so you don't know how to ask. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is what you do. He's like, go out and buy 10 properties this year. He's like, with private money partners. He's like, and record everything and throw all of it on social media. He's like, next year, you won't need private money partners anymore because people will be giving you money. And so that's an exaggerated timeline and amount of time. It's not exaggerated. There's people who do it. I didn't do it this year. But the truth is still there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have the money to get into real estate. You need network, you need people, you need to meet people, you need to do research, you need to have something to offer somebody.
Willingness to be educated.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Willingness to be educated, willingness to learn, willingness to offer up anything that you've got to be able to get involved. But once you build those relationships, bring somebody a deal. Bring somebody something that makes a lot of sense, and somebody will be like, yeah, I'll partner with you. Yep. And so, maybe you're not full owner in it. Maybe you're only 25% owner in it, but you own real estate. Yep. And then you learn from that experience. And then you get access. And now you've got a partner who's willing to do it again with you. Yep. And maybe you own 25% of 4 different properties. Then maybe you own 50% of 4 different properties. Then maybe you just got somebody who loaned you some money. You know what I mean? To buy the whole property.
It's like, okay, cool. Now that we've done 4 together and you've now have 4 quarters, right? You got 4 25% ownership. So you got your own house. Yeah. Now they could be like, okay, cool. Like, I've seen you do it. I've seen you do the work. Now I'll just loan you some money, just return it with a percentage, and I'll let you, full ownership. And then that's just less stress for them because they don't necessarily need to be involved. They just know they're going to give their money. It's going to come back, and they're going to have their 10, 15%, whatever they want to tack on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just get educated. I think people just fear the unknown. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Then you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And then you go. Then you go.
Then
into
you know what you don't know. That's so great.
Then you go into the you don't know what you know. And then you get to the you know what you know. Right. Like this is all stuff from books. This is not from me.
Yeah.
But there's 4 steps to it, and you start with you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And now then you get to the okay. Well, now I'm educated. I sat down with somebody. I listened to their story or their thing about whatever it was. Now I understand it, but I still don't know about it.
Right.
Like you tell me about prison. I'm like, I understand you. I love you. We've known each other for how long? Like I've got love for you.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it's like. Right. So now I just know what I don't know. But then once you get into the latter part of that, where you don't know what you know, so you've really started to educate yourself on that topic, but you're still not a professional in it, or you're becoming a professional.
Right.
People just don't like the process. And that's when then you get over the hump, and it's like, cool, I can start talking on if I was like, even a year ago, I would have been like, I don't want to talk on a podcast about short-term rentals. Like I'm going to sound like an amateur, or I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. Or again, imposter syndrome. Like just go and do it. Be willing to learn, be willing to put time in. People just don't want to put time in. They get stuck in the system. They just want to go to work, come home, turn their brain off.
Right.
Right. And like, cool. That's your awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad way to live.
Right.
There are days where I want to turn my brain off. Trust me.
For sure.
But
for sure.
Yeah. If you're just willing to show up, get educated, learn about it. The process, like people have already built the processes.
Right.
Like you don't have to look at everything in entrepreneurship. Like I'm going and creating the wheel. Like the process is built.
Right.
Be willing to give up a percentage to make it easier on yourself.
Right.
And then you can let somebody else do it while you watch. Mm-hmm. And then guess what? You do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Then guess what? Maybe on your 5th property, you're like, I kind of understand how I would need to manage this. And then you start managing it yourself and you keep that percentage.
Right.
Right. And you just start you just have to be willing to get into that uncomfortable. You have to be willing to allow someone else to tell you how to do it. Some people are just so prideful that they don't want to hear how it needs to be done because they want to do it their way. Right. So you just have to be willing to allow the people that have already paved the path to teach you how to do it. You have to give up percentage, and real estate that's what everybody will say. I don't have money. Cool. You're not educated. Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah. If you don't have money, there are people out there that don't have time for anything and they've got a lot of money. Right. And they're willing to give it to somebody that just brings them a good plan. Right. So are you willing to sit for 6 months, learn how to build a good plan, and then have access to huge cash flowing opportunities, great and amazing networks, awesome, tax incentives. There's just so much great stuff in real estate that I've realized is like, I was missing out, man. Right. I should have been buying houses when I was 18. I know.
Yeah, I should have been buying houses in 2008 when they were all $5.
I was 18 years old. I'm like, dude, I didn't need that pair of Air Forces. I could have just gone and bought a house.
Yeah, it's hard for most people, I think, especially in like our microwave society now where everything is instant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so hard to, and even for me, for somebody who I really feel like I'm at a place in my life where my mindset has changed to the point where I'm like, all right, I know this is going to take some time. Mm-hmm. I know this is a journey, it's still, you just want it to happen right now. You know what I mean? Yep. And you have to fight against that, yep.
And maybe that's your first, like I said, every year you have a challenge. Maybe year 1 of real estate is just getting by, that it's not going to, like sometimes people do hit gold mines and they're quick. Yeah. They fix and flip a house, and the ARV on the house is like after repair value for people who don't know. Right. The ARV on the house, like, cool. They got in for 300 and then ARV was 750 and they just hit a gold mine. And sometimes that just happens. Yeah. Comparison. We go back to faith. Comparison is the thief of joy. Stop looking at other people's journeys, thinking that you are supposed to have the same. Right. And that goes for life, that goes for relationships, that goes for work, real estate, whatever. Like, quit compare. Like, if you just let go of comparison,
Yeah.
because they hit 450K of ARV on one project, and you're struggling because you're not even hitting 40.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dang, this sucks. This is tough. And it's like, well, go and ask them what they did to find that gem.
Right.
Not sit here and complain to everybody in your community of like, this person they always win.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what do they know?
Yeah.
Why?
Or you heard that story, which is amazing and mind blowing.
Yeah.
Ask them how many times they've done that.
Yeah. Ask them how many times they've done that.
The last 10 houses, that was the one. And one of those other 9 houses I did, I lost 40 grand on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the potential too, where it's like, yeah, I tell the statistic of I found the house for 300 and it sold for 750, but little does everybody know, I don't share this. It's a success story I get to tell, but then, and again, hypothetical, it's not me, but I don't go and share with you all the things that I had to put 100K into a whole new, like plumbing, electric, all this stuff, and like people don't see the stuff on the back end. They just see the story of just the like purchase and ARV sale, right? And it's like, oh, cool, like 450. So everybody just assumes 450,000 is in his bank account. It's like, no, like maybe they bought it. And you see that and think it's this massive 450,000, but what if they only made 40 off of it? Because and you're just blind to understand that. Like there's just so much to it, which is the importance of the communities, man. Like you've got people that get to do them, and hopefully you don't have to do 9 to get to your 10th win. Hopefully you can come in and your first one is your 10th one, because you are working with a trusted, genuine community who has already paved the path, and people like Pace or Cody or all these guys that have been in it for so long, they're just like, just do it, like just follow the steps, put it on paper. Does it make sense in this table, right? Put all the numbers in it. Does it show you the percentages it's supposed to show you, where we say this would help, right? There's so many things that can happen, but like, did you just go step by step? Like, it has been paved for you, just do. When you do enough times to where then you're like, okay, I want to try to put my spin on it. But it's when you have the money to put your spin on it. Not trying to put your spin on something too early to then where you're like, well, yep, that 20K that I just worked super hard for, that I partnered with on a house, I just lost it all. Like it didn't work.
Because with my very first one, I thought I knew how to do it better.
So, I mean, that's a great story that you can tell. And it's just like, well, maybe it was a success story, but probably wouldn't have been as great if you would have just followed the steps that were there, right?
For sure.
Do enough of those to then where you have the backing, right? You've got the comfortable emergency fund set to where it's like, now I can put my spin on it. Because if something goes wrong, the world doesn't end.
For sure.
Like, you never want to get into a real estate deal or a partnership where you like, if it doesn't work, it's over. Right? Like, I have nothing. I'm in trouble. I can't ever buy a house again, not because I've, or in the way conventional way, because this bank won't ever lend to me again, and I'm foreclosed. Like, you don't want that stuff, right? So always just follow the process, stick to the plan until you are comfortable enough to where you can start creating your own plan.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's good stuff, dude. Real estate's fun.
Yeah. And there's so many like real estate is this deep ocean of opportunities.
It's insane how much there is. It's so crazy. Some people think real estate and they're like, oh, cool, rental. It's like, maybe. Sure.
Like, I was talking to somebody, they're like, oh man, I wouldn't do that deal. I'm not making any money on it. I'm like, as long as it's paying the bills, like, I'm not sure I wouldn't do that deal. Obviously you want a deal where I'm making $1,000 a month off of it. But if I'm at least paying the bills, like, I have appreciation. 10 years from now, I can sell it for, if I didn't make 1 penny on it for 10 years, but it didn't cost me a penny, I've got appreciation. I've been depreciating on it for the last 10 years, and my tax benefits, you know what I mean, that I've been writing off for the last 10 years. Like, if you add all that up, I'm net positive.
And there again, those tax benefits will put you in a good spot. For instance, the property I'm going to start managing for you, I am technically a part-time property management company.
Yeah.
So as long as you work more than me, and because I automate a lot,
Yeah.
if you work more than me and you at least spend 100 hours a year, you get the 100-hour rule, which can go directly towards your W-2. And so there are incentives to where, like, yeah, what if the property isn't making a ton? But how much more are you making just on your taxes because
Right.
of write-offs, right? Or like how much is it? How much less are you having to pay the government because of the write-off? So like you're making money, or I won't say making, you're putting yourself in a better situation, even if even if you're losing $500 or a couple $100 a month, it's like, it's not cash flowing. I'm in the negative. But then you look at like, okay, usually real estate is a long play.
Right.
Usually
if you're holding real estate, it's a long play.
Right. And so you're thinking long-term play. Well, okay, cool. Well, even if I spent $200 a month, like, you never want to be in the red. But I come down to it, and the expected sale price in 25 years from now is going to be, up 500K.
Right.
And it's like, okay, what's a couple $100 if I can just work through it and hold this, but I see the end goal in this house, it's going to end up paying itself back. And then maybe that $200 that you're having to pay out on that house is going to make you work harder in another area to get better and have more income somewhere else. So it's such a, like you said, big, deep ocean of, there's so many different ways, so many different tactics, so many different styles of real estate, opportunities in real estate. And once you get in, that also can be a part of it, is some people are just so overwhelmed by all the different possibilities.
Absolutely.
So just show up to meetings. I had a buddy, I go to jiu-jitsu every day at lunch, and I had a buddy talking to me. He's just like, where do you even start? I'm just like, go places.
Yeah.
Go on Facebook and type in real estate events in Phoenix. He's like, I want to learn more. I'm like, bro, you just show up to networking events. So I'm not good with talking to people. Then go and listen to people.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you do? Like, you don't have to tell them anything. I'm not even in real estate yet, but what do you do? Oh, I'm an agent. I'm a broker. I'm a seller's agent. I'm a buyer's agent. I'm a private money lender. I'm a this, and you just start listening. Like, oh, cool. What does that mean? Like, you just show up to these events just to like learn all the different pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
Because like you could think, oh, I want a short-term rental. That's a pawn. What else? Like, you still have all these other pieces that are going to go into the game. Maybe you get into real estate and you're in construction, and that's part of real estate.
Right.
So I just tell people, just show up, just get to events, just hear people and what they do. So you can take a note and you can be like, okay, well, I've heard this term a lot on TV shows, but now I actually know what it means.
Right.
And cool. You didn't meet anybody. You didn't do a deal, or you met, one person, you didn't do a deal. You didn't make any money. You spent time. You had to pay for gas, but you got another piece of the puzzle.
Look at the knowledge you gain,
of course,
from being in that situation.
And then if you decide, hey, I really want to dive in, and you want to pay to be a part of a community, the puzzle's already put together. The people are already there. So you've got your options, right? And then you just get in and there's a plethora of knowledge. So you just dive into it, figure out where your risk tolerance feels comfortable, figure out what would be fun to you. And then, don't be so overwhelmed with the 10,000 potentials of different avenues in real estate of what you can.
Just take some imperfect action.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everything to get involved in real estate. You can know nothing, and just with the imperfection of what you don't know, go to a meeting.
Yep. Showing up, and I like to say, oh gosh, now I'm gonna forget it. Take massive action, but be patient with your results.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I'm and I've learned that, playing college football, I'm going to a super hard academic school. It took a lot, right? And you just learn action. You have to act. You don't want to do something. Guess what? You got to act.
Right.
When you want to do better, you've got to act. Just take massive action, but then let go of that microwave mentality. Let go of that instant gratification. That's not the story. That's a movie you watched.
Right.
Let go of the Hollywood fabricated movie where the guy was, he went to prison and then went into real estate, and his first deal he made $1 million. It's that's a movie.
Right.
Stop watching the movie and thinking it's real.
Right.
Get in the trenches, learn what reality is, and then be patient, like massive action, but be patient with your results.
Yeah.
Because patience is a virtue. Patience this, patience, but like patience in your real estate journey will take you so far.
Yeah.
Because you do have to move fast, but you also have to be patient that like, hey, I don't understand how I need to grow. Right. Or it's not moving as fast as I want it to, but it's still moving. Like when I look at now equity we have in our home and where we've built our property management business, thinking 3 years back when I was like, oh, I'm going to jump into this. Like if I would have looked at where I am now, I would have been super happy then.
Yeah.
But me personally right now, I'm like, I should be 5 times as far.
Right.
Right. So you just have to like remember.
That's the curse of learning more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything. That place looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then when I get to that place, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many other places I can go.
And you now I understand why I'm not as big as I am. Like again, you don't know what you don't know. You know what you don't know. And I'm getting through that process now. So I have the patience, but I'm just like, man, I had these goals and I haven't hit them. But then I see, I'm a couple properties with you. One literally that I wasn't expecting today. Boom. Like I already have a potential that like is going to be ours, managing it tomorrow, possibly.
Yeah.
And then, so that's 3. And then I've got another client who's going to give me 3 doors. And then we have 2 in Texas. So like we're on like out of nowhere, any day it can change.
Right.
In 2 months ago, these were not even in the pipeline.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, we're going to throw in 8 to 10 doors in a month, like end of the summer, unexpected, boom. And then it's just like, oh, if I wouldn't have been patient, maybe I was like the days I listened, I wanted to stop. Like maybe I could have done it and like sold off the property management company with X amount of doors and made nowhere near like, oh, cool. I could have like sold this and off to another company and just received another amount of cash for a down payment on another house. And like, I settled for like a down payment on a house.
Right.
When my goal is to be able to buy 2 in cash that we can just go back and forth to Michigan and here, and then put the rest in my retirement fund. That's going to, be plenty for the kids and plenty for it to scale and grow where like, it's not going to go down by the time we pass away.
Right.
Like that's where I want to get with it. And so there's just so many opportunities to where even to this day where I've been on at the doorstep where I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm so done.
Yeah.
But the patience, and then all of a sudden the snowball happens, and then all of a sudden there's 8 listings, boom, just like that. And it's like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, cool. That could be $500 to $1,500 a month per door, depending on how well it does. That's sweet. You know, like awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And then and then then those referrals start happening, and it's just like every client that comes in makes that spider web even bigger. Yeah. So just got a massive action, patient with the results.
Yep. Massive imperfect action.
Massive imperfect action. Okay, don't be an overthinker.
Yeah, for sure.
Massive imperfect action, because if you just try to overanalyze, I'm a math dude. Like I studied math in college.
Yeah.
I have an analytical brain that'll drive 99% of people on this planet crazy.
Yeah.
And
It'd drive me crazy for sure.
Yeah. And I've got to know, like, I look at results from every possible angle, and I want to know the outcome from every possible angle. Yeah. So like that can kind of be a little bit of a curse in the business world where you just don't ever move. Right. So I've had to learn to like stop listening to my inner monologue of like, you didn't do enough research yet. You didn't you don't know enough yet. Yeah. I was like, just do it. Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I want to know enough that I'm comfortable. So I'm not going to, like, when somebody tells me, so I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm going to go do that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, that's a great idea. Let me find out more about it. Let me see what does that really mean? You know what I mean? And then like, yeah, not too sure about that. Or like, oh, that is a good idea, but I don't know everything about it, but it's good enough for me to jump in. So it's kind of like right there in that middle. Like, you hear the stories about like, buy people's tax debt. and then like sell their tax debts. You know what I mean? And they make it sound so simple and easy. But then when you really start to dig into it, you're like, man, that's a lot of work. And there's a lot of ifs. And there's a lot of like, they can always pay it off. And then you pay for something you don't have anymore. You know what I mean? And there's like all these little nuances that like, yeah, it sounds great. And there's people out there that are successful at it, but they're doing more than they're telling you they're doing on Instagram and YouTube. If you really get into it and search it out. So I'm like, yeah, that's definitely not for me.
Yep.
But then like with real estate, I'm like, all right, so I can house hack. You know, well, I'm buying a house. You know, we bought a house, a little over 2 years ago when the interest rates were super high. You know what I mean? It was at the same time all the housing prices were going up high. Yeah. Like it was probably the worst time that you should really buy a house.
Peak interest rate, peak price.
Yeah, exactly. But like we did it anyway. Was it hindsight being 2020, was it exactly the perfect situation to jump into buying a house? Not at all. But I took imperfect action.
Yep. And
now I have 2 properties. And 3 properties, 3 doors with if you include the casita. And I'm not losing money on it. You know what I mean? I have properties that are appreciating, you know what I mean? That we've done really well with the midterm rentals. Looks like we might do even better with short-term rentals. And was it the perfect time to buy a house? The perfect way to buy a house? No, but I have properties and I took a step forward and I learned from it. And if I never bought it, it's funny. Somebody, I don't know, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, if you talk to the average person, it's never a good time to buy real estate. Never, ever, 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 ever. There's never been a time where in the present moment, somebody was like, today is the best time to buy real estate. Well, nobody's ever said that.
Rates are starting to go back down, so let's just wait until they're lower.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But then like you talk to that same person that you talked to today, he was like, oh, no, it's the worst time to buy real estate. But 10 years from now, I was like, the best time to buy real estate was 10 years ago. So you were telling me the worst time to buy real estate was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I've learned to kind of have that attitude too.
Yeah.
I know real estate's good. Maybe it wasn't the best time to buy, but it's not killing us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's actually potential for it to do really, really well.
Yeah. And if it did, don't take it as a finishing blow. Take it as maybe I don't understand market trends well enough, right? Maybe I don't understand every X amount of years, there typically is a little bit of a market reset. Every X amount of years, there typically is a little bit of a interest rate hike. And you start learning cycles and it's like, well, cool. Like I didn't start doing that before I bought our Airbnb.
Right.
I started doing that after when I was like, oh, wow, thankfully, that panned out really well. But I need to dig into this a little bit more. And so then you can learn, yeah, cool. And like, maybe then you start fine tuning when you purchase. But my style is long-term. So anytime is the best time.
Right. Exactly.
That's my style.
Which is kind of the way I thought about it with that house. I was like, yeah, it's not great. It's not the best. I mean, obviously prices are high, interest rates are high, but look at it this way. What if 5 years from now, the interest rates are half what they are now? Now we've got 5 years more worth of equity. Now I'm refinancing. I'm doing a cash out refi, and I'm taking that money and I'm throwing it into a new property at a smaller interest rate.
That Uncle Sam gets none of.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yep.
So like, it all depends on how you look at it. And with real estate, there's 18 million ways to look at it that will make you money.
Are you a fixer flipper? Then you need to probably understand before your first deal what the market trends are. When am I supposed to buy, fix, and try to get rid of this? Yep. What is the market going to look like 90 days from now? Because it's going to take you 90 days to get it where it fix it up at least. If you already have the people, right? If you got part of a community or you have a trusted individual who is willing to give you their process, right? Or is it going to take a year because you're just trying to do it all yourself? And then you tried to do it all yourself. It's a totally
different market
and then a year from now, it's a totally different market. If you would have sold it after 90 days, you would have done well. Yeah. But you held it for a year. You had to pay that mortgage. And then your first deal results in, let's call it cool. You made $500. That's a year of work. You made $500 when you could have made $40K and it would have been done in 90 days. So, you know, again,
and in my opinion, let's say it took you a year to fix and flip a house and you did everything wrong and you got out of it and you broke even. Buy another house and flip another house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you learned, you understood, you figured out what you did wrong. Hopefully, if you're at least paying attention, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't know what you didn't know. It cost you some time, it cost you some money, but in the end, you broke even. You can either be like, well, this sucks. This is bullshit. I'll never flip another house. Or take the knowledge you just spent a year gaining and the stress gaining and the frustration gaining and make it worth something and do it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of people struggle with is putting time into something that isn't paying you green paper.
Right.
A lot of people struggle with that. So a lot of people look at a year. Time is valuable.
For sure.
But if it's time well spent into learning how to do your next one right, that's valuable.
Right.
Your value is there.
Yeah.
But so many people get stuck on the like, I didn't make as much as I wanted. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you're not wrong.
Right.
Because that, like, cool. Like, awesome. But you can also stretch yourself, learn a little bit more, and realize that you kind of are wrong.
Right.
But you're also not wrong. Like, because you can be right and you can stop today. And you're right for the rest of your life. And it didn't work for you. And that's where those nasty stories usually come from. People who just wanted to quit or didn't get the result they wanted or got burned and didn't learn. And they're like, nope, one handyman screwed me over and didn't do anything right and told me he was licensed in electric and now my house set on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you didn't do your due diligence. Like, what are lessons you can learn that you need to do next time? But yeah, man, just, again, it can feel overwhelming, but if you just hop in, take that imperfect action, get a part of groups, network. Real estate is about people. Like, it's a people business.
For sure. All day.
So the more people you know, the more deals you're doing, and it's not a eye game.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
For sure.
You're never going to do well or acquire like you want to acquire or, you know, create processes like you want to create if you're trying to do it by yourself. It's like, just hop in the community, let go of your pride.
Right.
Cool. Like, yeah, you may end up being great in creating your own style, like a Pace, but like Pace didn't just hop in and say, I want to create this method.
Right. Pace had help.
Yeah.
Pace had somebody else helped Pace. Somebody else guided Pace, and as Pace grew and got the space to do his own thing, he added his own flavor.
He did his 5, 10, 20 deals that we talked about, and then started adding his own spin and his own flavor and his own process. And then he realized, oh my gosh, like, because of the knowledge and all the time that I've spent making no money, wait, there's a loophole here where people can purchase properties in this way that somebody accidentally did one time. And, you know, and then that's just kind of how things will start to snowball, just based off of that experience. So if you're not in real estate, get into real estate.
Amen.
learn a way to get involved. Take advantage of it
to get involved in real estate.
Doesn't have to be full time. Doesn't even have to be a part time thing. It can be a part time thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be I want to go all in tomorrow. It's just there's just so many advantages for people who want to be involved in real estate, to where if you are not making any cash flow, you're still making money in other ways. And like, so you can win in so many categories.
Right.
And if you're winning in all of them, it was a great deal.
Yeah.
But like, you can win in like eliminating taxes you have to pay, or, you know, you can win in cash flow you would make. You can win in appreciation of the home because it's like a stock, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you're going to throw money into a stock, you're throwing it into a stock, but there's not a ton there other than like, if this goes up, I make money. If it goes down, I'm losing money.
Right.
Or you could throw it into a stock physical house asset, where if it goes up, cool. If it goes down, cool. But like, if I'm just going to hold it long term, like, it's going to, like, it's proven fact, it goes up.
Right.
But then there are other pieces. It's like, I don't want to put my money somewhere where I only have one way to make money.
Yeah.
I want to put it somewhere where I have 5, 10 pockets of ways that I can be winning.
Right.
Then comes like you said, the cash out refi.
Yeah.
Then you can take that and win elsewhere. Like, you know, it's just so versatile
Yeah.
that if you really sit down and understand it, it's just like, man, I wish everybody knew about this.
Yeah.
Or
and
took the time.
sometimes like it's not perfect, it's not amazing, it's not it is amazing. It's not perfect, but it's not. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of doubts. There's going to be times when you're like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Why did I do this? You know, why did I buy this? Why did I purchase this? Why did I take this route? Or what do I do now? But the good thing about being in a community is that, like, I've seen Eddie help people that were like, oh, I jumped into this. I didn't do my due diligence. I threw this money out the door for this thing, and now I'm about to lose it. And Eddie jumps in, and I've seen him help people. But he's like, well, but he teaches them along the way. What did you learn from this experience? Mm-hmm. He doesn't just go in, fix it, and then you're like, you're good. But what did you learn from this experience? And he doesn't charge anything for it. He just helps to help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that person that he helped learned something, moves forward, does it again, without doing the thing they just learned from, you know? And so it's like, and like you said, with with buy and hold real estate, it's a long-term play. So many people get stuck in the immediate microwave results. You know what I mean? I'm not cash flowing. Like I was sitting next to somebody a couple weeks ago, and I think Eddie was going through some deals, and he was like, well, is this a good deal? And I'm like, depends. You know what I mean? What's your goal? Like, yeah. What's your goal? What do you want to do? You know what I mean? Is your only goal cash flow? It's not a good deal. Is your goal to build long-term wealth? Is your goal to, you know, make money that you can invest later on? I don't mind the deal. It really doesn't bother me if I'm breaking even, as long as I'm depreciating, which helps me on my taxes, so I don't have to pay taxes on this other property that I'm making money on, or I've got other tax benefits that maybe I can apply to my W-2, or I can apply to this business, or I can apply to this other property. Like there's so many other ways that you can make money off that property that's not cash flowing. And 10 years from now, I can do a cash out refi.
Yeah, I think if somebody's asking if it's a good deal, I would tell them it'll be a good deal if you take that action, getting this property, and then learn how many amazing ways there are to earn value from this asset.
Right.
Like I don't like to say make you money, because like writing off, like getting more tax advantages, it's not like it's more money in your pocket. It's just if you do need, you know, to offset some of that, it's less money out of your pocket, which is still money in your pocket.
Right.
So
you're not getting a chunk, you're not getting a check.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not writing a check.
Right.
You know, might have been spent already, but you're not writing a check.
But just learning all the different ways. If your first deal is I do want it to cash flow, and then it doesn't cash flow a ton, make your deal. The first one is like, hey, I want it to cash flow. Cool. But I want to understand everything that this little 4-window single door house can do for me.
Right.
You know, like what is all the things that I can unlock. And once you understand that, it's like, okay, you know, if I do run into months where every single person that's successful in real estate at some time has had to pay 2 mortgages.
Right.
Or 3 or 4 or 5, where it's like no money is coming in and you're paying a lot out, right? Yeah. Every single person that has made it had to go through that.
Right.
And so you have to be able to look at those moments and be like, okay, I'm willing to go through those months to understand that it's opening Pandora's box to all of these, you know, available things that the market has to offer. And maybe that's the first goal. Maybe the imperfect action isn't going and getting a property. It's hey, I need to educate myself.
Right.
That's always very important.
Absolutely.
Learn, be a sponge.
Ask questions. Always ask questions.
Show up to places and just ask questions.
Exactly.
You're going to learn real fast. It's like learning a language. What's the best way to learn a language? Fly to that country, get thrown in with the wolves.
Yeah.
And be like I've seen travelers who do blogs where they're like, they go with nowhere to sleep and they have to figure it out, and they challenge themselves to do it in their language.
Wow.
Right. And so like you see those kind of things, and how quick do you think you're going to learn a language? right? So do the same thing. Just immerse yourself in the culture and the language. And the fastest way you're going to learn is just dive into the pool. That doesn't mean you have to take action on a deal, but just like go to the culture, the events, the this, the that. Hear the lingo.
Right.
What is the real estate lingo? That's the language, right? So like just immerse yourself and you can learn super quick. Like you don't have to be a wizard. You don't have to be a 4.0 high school, college grad. You don't have to be summa cum laude. Like you don't need that. You just have to be willing to step into those environments, feel uncomfortable for quite a while.
Yeah.
That you're going to like, people are going to be like, oh, well, how long have you been in real estate?
Yeah.
4 days, you know, like, and then guess what? They're going to love on you and like probably want to find you some way to succeed at that. Like they're almost going to want to help you even more at that point.
Right.
And that's the beautiful part. Like when somebody hears, oh, you've been in real estate for 15 years. And it's kind of like, you know, like I'd love to help you, but you probably don't need any help at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So people that are the newbies, it's like, don't be scared to go because the newbies are the ones that always, like, it's like they
get the most love.
They get the most love and the most attention. Like that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's I'm glad I got into the journey to say that property management and, you know, short-term rentals, owning our own portfolio is like the end of the road. I don't know. Maybe that's what I stick with, or maybe down the road, you know, I have a buddy who started with that and then he opened up literally his own like capital firm.
Yeah.
And then I've got another buddy, Rich Summers out of San Diego. He started with multifamily, then shifted into short-term rental, and now he's doing boutique hotels.
Yeah.
And like he does has a whole community for that. And so you just never know. Like don't restrict yourself, but all of those deals is going to open up another way for you to, and then you're going to change as a person. You're going to get interested in something else in real estate. And then you're going to have to go through the whole process again. Like once you go from residential real estate to commercial real estate, whole different ball game. Right. And you got to jump into the pool again and learn the language and learn the culture and and it's never stops. So if you're just willing to start at the beginning and jump into it and understand that everybody in real estate has everybody, even seasoned vets will be like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're always going to hear that, especially from like, even I told you I went to jujitsu. Like I hear that from brown belts, right? They're almost black belts and they're like, I don't have any idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And but it's just funny because it's like, well, you know a ton, but you're always going to feel like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And if you're just willing to jump in, do it and start, and you realize that the person who has 50 million in assets, or, you know, somebody out there that's got that, and you realize that like they're still having to do that. Like every next room they go into for the next bigger project, I've been in real estate for 4 days.
Yeah.
Individual, you know, like, oh, how long have you been in boutique hotel? Like your first day, first day.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They're going to want to help you a ton because it's like, welcome, you know, you got your new belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Got your new color belt. Welcome to the new, you know, the new step.
Yeah. I heard Pace talk about that because he's the single family homes he's got down. Yeah. He knows how to buy them. He knows how to buy them with no money. He knows how to buy them 15 different ways. He knows how to make money off of them this way, that way, and the other way. He's like, as I grow, and I've grown and I've gotten into rooms with people who are much bigger than me and are in other places in their life than me. And they're like, what are you doing with single family homes? Like multifamily, dude, like you are just wasting your time with single family. He's like, and when I walk into that room, he's like, I'm a baby all over again. Yeah. You know, he's like, I'm intimidated. I have imposter syndrome. You know, I'm super successful and I'm making all this money and I have these communities and I do, you give me any house, I'll figure it out. But I walk into this room and now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, and I've got to learn everything all over again.
The game always gets bigger.
Yeah.
And like when you go from residential real estate where you are kind of subject to what your neighbor's house, you know, it's not full control. Like it's a lot of control, but it's not full control over what your property is valued.
Yeah.
But when you start getting into like commercial real estate and you start getting that net operating income, right? And like your value of your property is based off of how much money that boutique hotel brings in,
Right.
like then that's a whole different game,
Yeah.
right? And that's a whole different style of, you have to like unlearn yourself from
Right.
what you knew to then learn again.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing too, man. Like I feel like we just keep going and going and going, but you have to just unlearn what you know. We talked about it earlier. Unlearn what you know about short-term rentals. Why? Because everything that you have seen looks like it's Brad from, you know, some random guy works a random job, random family, and he's putting out this tweet on X about how the entire market is a disaster and short-term rentals are selling like crazy and revenues are down 25% and all this stuff. And it's like, that was probably just the big old hotel chain down the street that created an X account, made it look like Brad.
Right.
And then they're just dumping this stuff onto your feeds of like marketing the disaster of what it is so they can just win back their clientele.
Right.
It's like you have to be willing to unlearn every step you go, because we're taught so much stuff that, you know, can be very toxic for you know, specific steps in, for instance, a real estate career. So really have to come in, be willing, have the willingness to unlearn, to then be able to be like, okay, now I'm going to get successful in this, and boom, I've got my foundation. And then what I know about this, I need to unlearn it. And so I can set it, you know, and then you just kind of keep those building blocks.
Right.
Because every new thing, like you said, with PACE, you go into multifamily, you got to unlearn all the negative things you heard about multifamily.
Right.
You know, for instance, you're dealing with more people and it's just one property, you know, and it's like more people, one property.
I keep telling myself that about co-living. Co-living scares me. I'm like, dude, like midterm rentals, I'm like, I've got somebody in there for 3 months. They're professionals. I don't have to worry about them paying the rent. I can avoid the long term. Maybe they start squatting or lose their job or go through a divorce. I avoid that, and I'm making much better than long term. Not quite short term money, but what's really short term money anyway? It's super saturated. Nobody makes any money with it anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm in the sweet spot, but then you know, and then learning about short term and you know, maybe my house would have been in a place where short term wasn't any good, but it seems like it's in a place where it might do really well. So we're gonna try that. But then like I hear like co-living to me, I'm like, fuck, that's worse than short term. You know what I mean? I was like, not only like short term, I've got these, you know, transient people coming in, coming out. I don't know who they are. Maybe they spill wine on my couch. You know what I mean? Maybe it ruins my house. But you know, if it's not super saturated, I'll make some money. Mm-hmm. But then co-living, I'm like, geez, I like multiplied that problem by putting 10 people in this property. What if they don't like each other? What if they argue? What if, you know, this, what if that? And I'm like, that's scary to me. But like, I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, you know what? I don't understand co-living. I don't have any experience in co-living, but I know people are making massive amounts of money on co-living. Mm-hmm. So I'm not against co-living. I would never tell anybody, dude, co-living, you just got to stay away from it. You know what I mean? I would tell somebody, it's not my thing because I'm afraid of it and I don't understand it enough to really jump in. Maybe when I get to a bigger point where I'm comfortable jumping into the co-living pool and I have somebody else maybe I can pay to manage all that stuff that I don't want to deal with, mm-hmm. then maybe I'd do that. But I'm not anti co-living. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just am honest about where my understanding of co-living at the moment. Yep. You know what I mean? And my risk tolerance is not to jump into co-living right now. Yeah. But that may very well change. I want it to change because I know people making massive amount of money in co-living. For sure. I'm just not ready to take that step yet. Yep. You know?
And look at pros and cons of everything. Like, listen to that feeling where you're like, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it, because then you're going to be operating out of discomfort, right? Right. And once you learn more about it and you want to try it, awesome. Or you learn more about it and you're like, that's why I didn't try it. Awesome. Right. Because there are lots of pros and cons to co-living. And, you know, if you're going to spend a bunch of money to completely renovate a house to where, what does resale look like at a certain point? You know, where it's like, this house, 1,800 square feet, and now I have 7 bedrooms in it. Right. You know, it's like, what is the resale of that? or am I going to have to go and spend a bunch more on like
renovating
it back?
Yeah.
When I could have just maybe dumped that cash into a nice decor with Sammy and let her have just done my house up and then made a strong cash flow in short term.
Yeah.
But then there also are other things where it's like occupancy, like just, so there's great things in all of them, but it comes down to that. Where like, what are you willing to jump into? And anything that you feel discomfort in, like just maybe don't try it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need to just learn more about it, and then you will feel comfortable. You felt discomfort about short-term rentals, and then you were like, okay, awesome. But it wouldn't have hurt my feelings if you would have been like, no, I truly understand where you're going with this, bro. But like, I can't find peace in my heart to rent my house out so often.
Right.
I just can't. I'd been like, awesome, okay, cool. You're educated. You at least know.
Right.
So now that you know, go and tell people you know a guy.
Right, for sure.
Cool. You don't want to do it, but you may know people that are like dying for help in that, right? And they're drowning in like having to go over to their property all the time because they can't find a trusted handyman. Just like you may then end up knowing somebody else. And even if we didn't do any business together, we still used each other's networks to grow. So
yeah, I agree, man. I think that people really, if you want to get into real estate, just go to a meeting and listen.
Yep.
Start there for sure. Because
if you live in the Phoenix area, we've got a good one. Takes nothing to be a part of. You have to scan a QR code. That's it. So that way Eddie can they can know how many people are there, so he can try to buy more pizzas the week after. Like that's why you're scanning the QR code.
Yeah. He doesn't send you stuff. He doesn't bomb your email. He doesn't anything. It's basically just so he can have numbers so that he can find somebody who's willing to sponsor it.
Yep.
And anybody's willing to go. It's based off of a community that some of us are involved in, but we love having everybody show up. Yep. And you will be pleasantly surprised at the community and the camaraderie that's at it. So it's called the Bash Brothers Meetup. You can find what's Eddie's Instagram? The Eddie Marin? Eddie Marin?
I feel like he has a middle initial in there. Let's see. It is Eddie, EDDIE G Marin, MARIN. So at Eddie G Marin. Dude's great.
Yep.
Super awesome friend.
Or reach out to me if you hear this tomorrow or the next day or somewhere down the road. And my Instagram is the Imperfect Life of Tabor. And ask me about the Bash Brothers Meetup. I'll tell you where it is. Speaking of which, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah. Honestly, anyway, really possible. But my Instagram is at I am Tyler Burke. So it's IAMTYLER B as in boy URKE. Our brand and another Instagram and the brand that my wife and I created is called Kingdom Cribs. So that's KINGDOM KRIBS. So it's 2 Ks there. You can find us at kingdomcribs.com. Learn about us. We've operated in 3 different regions of the United States now. I think 12 states. We've done decor, and my wife flies across the country. We'll take a home that we were given keys to, put it all together, have photos ready. She shows up, puts everything together, top to bottom. She'll work with a handyman for anything big, heavy that she doesn't want liability with. Or just can't do by herself.
Yeah.
And she'll put a whole place together. She'll fly out, do the full service. She's about right now, dude, like she's so talented. You've seen her stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's a steal of a deal compared to, some of these interior decor artists or interior designers out here. They're charging like $30K.
Yeah.
For one job. Right. And it's like, it's awesome. Like there's value, right?
Yeah.
Real estate you can make a lot of money in real estate. So you also will pay a lot of money.
For sure.
But she's a third to a quarter of the cost than the typical artist right now. And then our property management that she then gets the photos done, puts them in my lap. We take full service property management. So it's a full white glove service. Anybody who wants to invest and not think about it and just be like, make it work, we'll take it from the day you sign. And, within the goal is, if you have great communication within 30 days, you signed the paper and the house has a rental.
Nice.
So that's our goal. And even if she has to fly across the country. So that's the process. We're double digits lower than the industry percentage on revenue that we, ask for in the partnership. So we're taking less. We're trying to acquire more clients, and we're trying to have you make 10% more every month, so you can go and make have more deals. Right. You trust us. You're making more. We're doing more deals together.
Right.
So we know our value. I know we could charge more, but also at the same time, I understand people need to build confidence, especially in new partnerships. So I'm like, let's keep it low and let's build quantity, right?
Yeah.
Quality, of course, but like more revenue spread for you is going to equal quantity, right? More deals you're doing, more real estate you're able to acquire.
If you're running a couple of my properties and they're doing well, and I buy a couple of more, I'm going to give them to you.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. At that point, it's a no-brainer. So
yeah.
Those are the contact methods. A lot of ways to contact us through the website as well. But don't hesitate to reach out. Just like he was mentioning with Eddie, I feel like a lot of people in this community, I've done so many hour-long talks over Google Meets, Zooms, FaceTimes with people that paid me nothing that I could charge for. But like, I analyze properties. I teach them about STR. My currency is helping educate people. Like, seriously, I truthfully find joy in that.
Yeah.
So if you're have any questions, short-term, midterm, we do midterm as well. Real estate in general, we'd love to just give you our knowledge. We're not perfect. We're not better than any of these other, big dogs out here, but we have knowledge, right? And so if you're looking and you're scared to go to a meetup, at least start with one-on-one knowledge, learn what somebody else knows. We'd love to help you out. If that be, decor or management, learning, short-term rentals, whatever. So
right on.
Never hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was great talking to you, Tyler. Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And I'll see you probably next Friday. And we'll do this again sometime. We'll see how it all works out.
Love it, man.
In the end.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
invite. Yep, of course.
Yes, sir.